going to win the World Series, and why?
I think the Yankee pitching is just going to be a little better than the Phillies. I like Mariano Rivera as the closer. I think the Yankees are going to win in 6.
Best night in sports is World Series Game 7. I think we get there. The Yankees have Mo. They have the last at bat. I'm going Yankees in 7.
Yankees in 6, Yankees in 7. Matt, guys, what do you think?
Lighter, predictably, picking the Yankees to win the World Series. We might get a little more variance on that opinion here inside Studio 3. Harold, who wins the World Series?
Well, I picked the Yankees first postseason show, so I got to stick with that. But I'm curious, as we head down towards the National League, what these two are going to do.
Last National League back-to-back was a big red machine, 75-76. I want to see them bring it back to the National League. I want the Phillies to win it.
I honestly think the Phillies are going to win it. I try and look at it objectively as I can. I look at the matchups pitching-wise. The Phillies have faced these guys pitching-wise. Anytime the Phillies have seen them, they've beat up on them as far as guys that they have to face in big game. I like the Phillies.
All right, we got your series predictions. How about Game 1? What are the morning papers going to look like tomorrow? What about the Herald?
It's about the bat blame it on the bat at the CeCe's going to have a great game.
What are you, a Stern Show character now? What was that? Okay.
Larkin's Ledger, I believe the Phillies are for real, and I think they're going to come out and they're just going to play the game like they are very capable. Watch for Jimmy Rollins to go off early.
Look, what is this wild thing somewhere? Oh, the wild side? On a mucky field.
Wow.
Phil
that's
slipped past Yankees.
Who's your copywriter? Borrow that guy from the New York Post, apparently. Just a word on our programming schedule here today and for the rest of the World Series. We invite you to watch the World Series on Fox. Their pregame coverage starts at the bottom of the hour. Coming up shortly, they'll have the live telecast. Joe Buck and Tim McCarver have the call. Game 1, first pitch at 7:57 on Fox. After play-by-play, we invite you to come back to us for the most comprehensive post-game coverage in baseball. We'll wrap up Game 1. We'll have that same program throughout the World Series. Pre-game show, we're at the ballpark, and we're putting a bow on each night. What are we looking for tonight? You know, we've talked about who's going to win the series, morning papers. You indicated, Lark, you think that your guy Jay Roll is going to be a headliner.
You know, I really believe that the power of the Yankees is going to fit well into the Phillies' game plan. I just really believe that. I think that the Yankees beat up on the Angels and the Twins, and I think the way that they play really sets up nicely against the Phillies.
Who's your MVP of the series, Lark?
I haven't figured that one out
Put you on
yet.
the spot. We didn't go over this in the meeting. We got to get the writers back in the building.
Jason Worth.
Jason Worth. He's been hot so far. He's got
How about
5
Ruiz?
home runs.
How about Ruiz?
Ruiz has been
Ruiz
red
is going
hot.
to come up big.
How about Jeter? That's who's going to.
How can you go wrong, period?
You can't.
Enjoy Game 1
You're not
of
going
the
to get it
series.
wrong
We'll
if you
see
say
you right
Jeter.
back
You
in
gotta
for the best
win.
post-game coverage in baseball
18
right here on
champs.
MLB
Great
tonight.
player.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Enjoy the Fall Classic.
Prior to Game 1 of this 2009 World Series, and what a World Series it should be. A great matchup. Why? These are two veteran teams. These are two teams that can score in the blink of an eye because of all their power. And let's not forget who the defending champs are. It's the Philadelphia Phillies. They're back to try and repeat. On the other side, you've got the New York Yankees starting this World Series at home, the top record and a very dangerous club in Major League Baseball. Now, welcome in my partner, Tim McCarver. And Tim, there's so many different ways you can look at this matchup. How do you choose to look at this matchup before Game 1?
I thought it was interesting. You said that each team could score in the blink of an eye. And the reasons for that, the top superstar corners on each team who are at the top of their games. Ryan Howard, the MVP of the NLCS. Alex Rodriguez could have been the MVP of the ALCS. And in baseball, you're only as strong as the middle. And in the middle for the Phillies, it's Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley. And in the middle for the Yankees, Derek Jeter and Robinson Cano. Star power abounds.
And that carries over to the pitching mound. I don't think you could have a better matchup here in Game 1. Why? Because in an ironic twist, two guys who were teammates with the Cleveland Indians about 15 months ago are facing off in this World Series. CC Sabathia and Cliff Lee hook up. We get ready. Game 1 coming up next.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the starting lineups for the 2009 National League champion Philadelphia Phillies. manager, number 41, Charlie Manuel. Leading off, shortstop, number 11, Jimmy Rollins. Batting second, center fielder, number 8, Shane Victorino. Batting third, second baseman, number 26, Chase Utley. Batting fourth, first baseman, number 6, Ryan Howard. Batting fifth, right fielder, number 28, Jason Worth. Batting sixth, designated hitter, number 29, Raul Ibanez. Batting seventh, left fielder, number 10, Ben Francisco. Batting eighth, third baseman, number 7, Pedro Feliz. Batting ninth, in the bullpen, the catcher, number 51, Carlos Ruiz. And warming up in the bullpen, the starting pitcher, number 34, Cliff Lee. And now the Yankees starting lineup. First, the manager, number 27, Joe Girardi. Number 27. Leading off at shortstop, number 2, Derek Jeter. Number 2. Batting second, left fielder, number 18, Johnny Damon. Number 18. Batting third, first baseman, number 25, Mark Teixeira. Number 25. Batting fourth, third baseman, number 13, Alex Rodriguez. Number 13. Batting fifth, in the bullpen, the catcher, number 20, Jorge Posada. Number 20. Batting sixth, the designated hitter, number 55, Hideki Matsui. Number 55. Batting seventh, second baseman, number 24, Robinson Cano. Number 24. Batting eighth, right fielder, number 33, Nick Swisher. Number 33. Batting ninth, center fielder, number 53, Melky Cabrera. Number 53. Warming up in the bullpen, the Yankees starting pitcher, number 52, C.C. Sabathia. Number 52. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2009 American League champion, the New York Yankees. For tonight's ceremonial first pitch, we pay tribute to the men and women of the military who have served our nation so bravely. Joining our ceremonial first pitch honoree at the mound, please welcome a World War II veteran of the D-Day invasion and one of the all-time Yankee greats, Yogi Berra. He is accompanied by the Second Lady of the United States, Dr. Jill Biden, and the First Lady of the United States, Michelle Obama. To throw out tonight's ceremonial first pitch, please welcome a veteran whose sacrifice and dedication to our freedoms are an inspiration to us all. He is a West Point graduate who served in the 1st Cavalry Division in Iraq and was severely injured by a rocket-propelled grenade in Baghdad in August of 2004. His bravery and actions that day have earned him a Bronze Star with Valor and a Purple Heart. Please welcome retired Army Captain Tony Odierno.
Well, what a night. It is chilly, but there's no rain. And so here we go with game one. And a look at the Phillies starting lineup is Jimmy Rollins leading it off. He's the shortstop. Shane Victorino bat second. Chase Utley is the second baseman. Then Ryan Howard. What a postseason he's put together. Jason Ward, one of the most unsung heroes in any lineup. One of the better players in baseball. Nobody talks about. Raul Ibanez, the DH. Ben Francisco in left. Pedro Feliz at third. And Carlos Ruiz is the catcher. He bats in the number 9 spot. And here's a look at the regular season numbers for Sabathia, a 19-game winner, and he has been lights out here in the postseason.
Well, I should say so. Not only the postseason, but the second half of the season. He continues that remarkable run that finds him only losing once since July 28th. The power changeup, and he has changed the grip on his fastball. Dave Island telling us that he has changed the grip, the 4-seam fastball. Formerly, he has gone to the 2-seam fastball right there. And then the cutter that cuts in on the right-handed batters. And his changeup, that's that power changeup that he throws 86, 87 miles an hour.
Before the first pitch, tonight's opening pitch brought to you by Budweiser, with full flavor and a crisp, clean finish. It's what we do. For the majority of this day, it didn't look like game one was going to happen. And then about 2.5 hours before game time, maybe 3 hours, the sun popped out. And so here we go. Jimmy Rollins leading it off for the Phillies. And he drops down a bunt right to Teixeira. 1 pitch, 1 out. Take a look at the Yankee defense. In the outfield, no surprises. Johnny Damon, Melky Cabrera, Nick Swisher. Left to right, Alex Rodriguez, Derek Jeter, Robinson Cano, Mark Teixeira, and Jorge Posada handles CC Sabathia. In steps Shane Victorino on a 52-degree night. And that misses inside, ball 1. Victorino went deep, hit a grand slam off Sabathia last year during the division series when CC was pitching for Milwaukee, as the Phillies made their way to the World Series and then beat the Tampa Bay Rays in 5 games. A 1-0. Ball and a strike.
Talked about this so much during the postseason. CC Sabathia, a totally different pitcher now than he was even a year ago.
That foul tip caught a piece of Jorge Posada, strike 2, as Victorino went after a pitch that was up, and now he's in the hole 1 and 2. Victorino now, Chase Utley on deck. And this is a Philadelphia lineup that is very much like an American League lineup. They can come at you really 1 through 9. my opinion, the only team right now built in the National League to win a World Series, as they'll try to go toe-to-toe with the New York Yankees.
Change up
on 1-2. And a little pop-up. Teixeira gives way to Cano. 2 out. Tonight's Home Depot, tools to victory.
For the Phillies, they want to win one game. Obviously, they'll take 2, but they want to take 1 win back to Citizens Bank Ballpark. As far as the Yankees are concerned, rally around the hot guys, and that is CC Sabathia and Alex Rodriguez.
One guy with his arm, one guy with his bat. And the 2 carried the Yankees past the Angels in the ALCS. Here's Chase Utley. Strike 1. Utley is putting together a brilliant career while playing second base defensively. You start looking at where he stacks up all time. And you combine on-base percentage and slugging percentage. It is eye-popping what he's done in his time with the Phillies. That pitch is low. A ball and a strike. In his postseason career, however, just 3 out of 35 against left-handed pitching. Good pitch in under his hands. Strike 2.
That's where National League pitchers try to pitch Utley inside because he stands right on top of the plate. That's a 2-seam fastball running in under the hands of Utley.
Utley lays off and the count 2-2. Talk about Alex Rodriguez coming off hip surgery, which happened in March. Chase Utley had hip surgery in November. During the regular season, hit 31 home runs.
In fact, Alex Rodriguez called Chase Utley for counsel prior to his operation.
Now a 2-2. Full count. What kind of a year did Utley have with the 31 home runs? Well, he's one of 4 players in this Phillies lineup with 30 or more home runs. Yankees had 7 in their lineup with 20 or more. Trying to keep this top of the first alive for Ryan Howard. And he does with a 2-out walk. How about Ryan Howard? Rookie of the Year in 2005. MVP, National League 2006. He's had 4 straight seasons with 40 or more home runs, 130 RBIs, and was the MVP of the National League Championship Series. As you can see, some of the raindrops hitting our camera lens down at the end of the dugout. As Howard digs in, he steps in with 14 RBIs this postseason, 2 home runs, and an average of .355. Strike 1 from Sabathia.
Remember the fastball in on the hands of Chase Utley. That's how the Yankees will try to pitch Ryan Howard. Breaking balls away. Try to get him chase out of the strike zone once you get ahead. And fastballs in on the fists.
And that's a rocket down into the right field corner as Swisher goes to dig it out. Utley heads for third, and he is held by Sam Perlazzo. It's a double after the walk, and the Phillies have second and third with 2 out here in the first inning.
Watch Jorge Posada set up inside off the plate. And the pitch from Sabathia came back over the heart of the plate, and Ryan Howard doesn't miss those. A tracer to right field.
And so an early opportunity now for Philadelphia. It started with a 2-out walk, and it lands in the lap of Jason Worth. And I said during the lineup portion of our first inning that this is one of the best players that nobody talks about across baseball. What a season. 36 home runs. That was the 7th best total in the National League. Second and third, 2 out, and Worth takes a pitch high.
Jason Worth was platooned with Jeff Jenkins in the outfield last year, and right after the All-Star game went into Charlie Manuel, the manager, and said, I think I should be playing more often. Charlie said, you know what, you're going to get a chance. And Jeff Jenkins got hurt, Worth got the chance, and here he is.
The All-Star takes a strike. Worth's last game this postseason was a 2-home run game in Game 5 of the NLCS against the Dodgers. The 1-1. Ball 2. So first inning trouble for Sabathia. First base is open. Ibanez on deck. Phillies trying to get a lead for their starter Cliff Lee. Way high with a fastball, and it's 3-1.
The pattern for Sabathia against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, when he was behind in the count, he went away to right-handed batters. The power changeup is not out of the realm of possibility here.
And he gets the outside corner with that pitch. Full count.
87-mile-an-hour changeup on the corner. When to try to overpower and when to tease.
And that will load him up. 2 walks, a double in the middle of them, and the bases are loaded with 2 away.
That looked like a little cut fastball on the outside that missed, went around the plate. And the Phillies have loaded him up here in the first inning.
And it brings in Raul Ibanez. Ibanez handles left-handed pitching. In fact, a better average against left-handed pitching during the regular season than against right-handers. 285 average compared to 267. Bases loaded for Philadelphia. And a ball down and away from Sabathia. Check swing, foul left side, 1-1. Home plate umpire is the crew chief. First time he's been a crew chief in the World Series. This is his 4th World Series, 26 years in the big leagues. Jerry Davis. Jeff Nelson at first, Brian Gorman, Mike Everett at third, Dana DeMuth down the left field line, and Joe West down the right field line. Rollins tried to bunt his way on. Made an out. Victorino popped up with a walk, a double, a walk. And it's Ibanez in his first year with Philadelphia. Taking ball 2. A 22-pitch first inning for Sabathia right now.
Bases loaded, 2 balls and a strike. Ibanez will get a fastball right here. Try to capitalize. Breaking ball.
And it misses low, ball 3. 3-1.
That's why breaking ball in that count is dicey. You've got the bases loaded, no place to put Ibanez. And Sabathia goes to the breaking ball that misses. And now he most assuredly will get the heater.
The 3-1 pitch is chopped to second. 2 hops to Cano. And after all that, the Phillies come up empty. Take a look at the Yankees starting lineup. Derek Jeter leads it off. He is the shortstop. Johnny Damon bats second and left. Mark Teixeira hits third, the first baseman, and Alex Rodriguez putting together a brilliant postseason here in 2009. Jorge Posada, Hideki Matsui, the DH. Robinson, Cano, Nick Swisher, and Melky Cabrera is the center fielder batting ninth. And that group is facing this left-hander who has been terrific with the Philadelphia Phillies, not just in the regular season, not just him right after they got him, but here in the postseason, virtually unhittable.
2-0 in 24 1/3 innings in the postseason. He has struck out 29 and walked only 3. He works lightning fast, and he can match Sabathia's changeup. He cuts the ball in on the right-handed batters. That keeps them from diving out to the outside part of the plate. Very similar equipment to Sabathia.
Jeter first in there for New York. Strike one.
The grips, interesting. If you'll notice up here, I had never heard the term spiked curveball, but you notice how the forefinger is tucked in, and that allows him to get on top of it, the changeup and the four-seam fastball. And we'll tell you how we found out about that spiked curveball. That was it.
Just nasty break, and Jeter taps it foul 0-2.
There it is right there, tucking that index finger under. And that's called a spiked curveball. Carl Willis, the pitching coach of the Cleveland Indians, told us about that spiked curveball in an interview with him yesterday from Durham, North Carolina.
Here's an 0-2. And a good start for Cliff Lee as he strikes out Jeter on 3 pitches. It's about as good as you can do, and Cliff Lee makes a statement with the first hitter tonight for New York.
That looked like a cutter, so after the spike curveball, the cutter out of the strike zone gets Jeter.
And brings in Johnny Damon. Johnny Damon, of all the pitchers who are active across the big leagues, he has his lowest average against Cliff Lee, just 2 out of 22. And he takes ball 1. Here's a 1-0 and a tap foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yankees 36-18 against left-handed starters here in 2009. And for Cliff Lee, trying to keep the bases clear in front of Teixeira, who has handled him, and looks like he's done just that. 2 out. An easy play for Cliff Lee, and now Damon is 2 out of 23 lifetime against Cliff Lee. And here comes Teixeira, who during the regular season hit 39 home runs, drove home 122 runs. Those are the top totals in the American League.
His 3 RBIs in the American League Championship Series came on 1 swing of the bat against Darren Oliver with the bases loaded.
Strike 1. So Cliff Lee, who had never pitched in the postseason before, and who has rolled through his opponents so far, whether it's been the Colorado Rockies or the Dodgers, comes out here and starting World Series game number 1, strikes out that guy, and then gets Johnny Damon on a bunt attempt, falls behind Teixeira 2-1. And wants to talk to Ruiz.
That's a changeup to Teixeira that stayed low. But once again, the control of Cliff Lee. is remarkable. 29 strikeouts and only 3 walks in 25 innings in the postseason. Fastball away.
On 2-1. And it's 2-2.
You can tell at home what the fastball with nobody on at second base. A pinky is a fastball away. Not only a fastball, but it gives location too. The index finger would be a cutter inside, like this one.
And Teixeira strikes out. What a first inning for Cliff Lee. We go to the second, game 1. Phillies and Yankees, no score. Here is Ben Francisco. What an opportunity for this outfielder, Francisco, who came with Cliff Lee in the trade that brought Cliff from the Indians to the Phillies. Happened on July 29th. Francisco kind of a throw-in. The Phillies, and in particular Charlie Manuel, really like what they have. Hit 5 home runs in 97 at-bats with Philadelphia, and the count's 2-0 from Sabathia.
Charlie telling us before the game that Francisco is a much better player than he thought he was when initially acquired.
Here's a 2-0. And now 3-0. 7 days of rest for CC Sabathia, who his last time out on 3 days of rest shut down the Angels in game 4 of the ALCS. 8 innings, 1 run, 5 hits. There's a strike, and it's 3-1. Now the 3-1. Francisco fouls it out of play. Full count. Left side in Rodriguez to his left. 1 out.
And as you can tell, that smile lights up a camera, doesn't it?
He has an infectious personality and doesn't seem to worry about much. One of the reasons why I'm sure it worked out here right out of the gate for the most part in his first year. That big contract, $161 million to come to the Bronx. You went over the numbers. First 22 starts, he was good. He was 10-7. The Yankees were 11-11. But the last 15 starts since the 1st of August, he's lost only once. Jeter guides it over to first with that wet baseball, and 2 groundouts start the second. We've been talking about nothing but weather since the postseason started, at least when we've been here in New York. It's 52 degrees. It's raining. It's misting. Said the weather had moved out of here, but most came prepared because it was just a nasty day. And it wasn't misting all day. It was pouring. They told us, Tim, it was going to stop. It's back. There's Ruiz.
Have to be patient with our weather brethren.
Strike 1 to Carlos Ruiz. They're just trying their best.
Yeah, that's right.
Base is empty, 2 out. Ruiz chops one to the right side. Cano. 3 ground ball outs as Sabathia comes back from that 3-0 count to Francisco to start the inning. An inning and a half. No score. Well, Cliff Lee couldn't have been any better in the first. He struck out 2. He got Johnny Damon to bunt back to him for out number 2. The strikeouts were of Jeter and Teixeira. And now Alex Rodriguez, Jorge Posada, and Hideki Matsui will bat for the Yankees. No score. Bottom of the second. First World Series at bat in the 16-year career for Alex Rodriguez. And offensively, Alex Rodriguez is the biggest reason why the Yankees are in the World Series here in '09. Strike 1 from Cliff Lee. .30 home runs during the regular season, 100 RBIs. 12th straight year he has reached both those plateaus in the same season, and Cliff Lee is sharp here early.
A quote by Alex Rodriguez that he has rediscovered the joy of baseball.
The 0-2. And that is foul. Out of play off to the right as the rain and the wind pick up a little bit here in the bottom of the second. And just to go through the numbers, the last 3 postseasons for Rodriguez coming into 2009, he hit a combined 159 with 1 RBI, which came on a solo home run. That is it. That's a ball. Ball 1. He went 0 for 20 with runners on base. This year he's hitting .412 with runners on base. And here in '09 he has 3 game-tying home runs in the 7th inning or later. 3 of his 5. And he strikes out to start the second.
Man, you talk about razor sharp. Cliff Lee with the cutter to get Rodriguez. 3 strikeouts in his first 4 batters.
Cliff Lee 1-1 against the Yankees this season. He actually made the start for the Cleveland Indians when the Yankees and Indians opened up this stadium on the 16th of April. He and CC Sabathia faced one another. Ball 1 high. In that game, Cliff Lee got the win. Sabathia was okay. The bullpen imploded for New York that day. Here's a foul off to the right, 1-1. Jorge Posada, a career .208 hitter during the World Series, and he takes inside 2-1. Seventh World Series for Posada. The 2-1. 3-1.
Good spot for Posada here. He will get a good fastball to hit. Count 3-1. Hitters look inside, try to jerk one.
And instead he floats one into right. The Yankees have their first base runner of game 1. Base hit Posada with Matsui coming up.
Good hitting by Posada. Now, I guess all pitchers have rituals. And the one thing in talking to Carl Willis, the Cleveland Indian pitching coach yesterday, he said before every inning, watch Cliff Lee. He'll wind his arm around 3 times and do a simulated pitch off the back of the mound to visualize the drop when he turns and throws toward home plate.
He struck out Rodriguez. Posada got a hit, and now Matsui takes ball 1 inside. Hideki Matsui hitting .233 this postseason. 7 out of 30 with a home run, 5 RBIs. Another lefty, Cano, is next. That's inside again, 2-0. Looks like it's raining a lot harder on the mound than it is home plate when we show it that way.
hitters have all the advantages.
Here's a 2-0. There's a strike, 2-1. Talk about the difference, Tim, with the mound and the plate. And at the release, it's 91 miles per hour. At the plate, 83 miles per hour.
That is our Fox Tracks Plus.
And that is strike number 2 on Matsui, 2-2.
I think as much as anything, Joe, it does, that little gadget gives you an idea of how quickly a hitter has to react to a pitcher's pitch, determine whether it's a strike or not, and swing. The blink of an eye.
And a changeup gets Matsui as we peek into the glove of Cliff Lee. Strikeout number 4.
There you can see, we talked about it in the American League Championship Series with CC Sabathia, about whenever that ring finger becomes involved, then a changeup is the pitch. The pitcher will throw the ball with the index and middle finger. But when that ring finger becomes involved, then a slower pitch is forthcoming.
Here's Robinson Cano.
Thing is, from a hitter's standpoint, you can't pick that up.
And Cano flies one into center. Victorino back to get it. We go to the third. Pitching has dominated to this point. No score in game 1. For game 1, the weather was so bad they couldn't rehearse, so tomorrow night is the night, and we look forward to that, and so should you. And you can join us as our coverage starts at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Here is Jimmy Rollins, top of the order for Philadelphia. No score. And Rollins, who tried to bunt his way on, pushed it right to Teixeira his first time up. He's 0 for 1. And 10 out of 42 this postseason. Victorino, then Chase Utley. That's strike 1. And speaking of music, Jimmy Rollins appeared in several MC Hammer videos in the late 80s, just like you, Tim.
MC Hammer used to work for the Oakland Athletics.
That's right.
Yeah. Of course, Rollins and Sabathia grew up about 35 miles apart.
2-2.
Jimmy grew up in Oakland, and CC Sabathia growing up in Vallejo, California.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Posada wants it up. He gets it right at the mitt, and it's a full count. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and a fly ball well hit into left center field. Back at the track, caught by Cabrera.
This ballpark, the ball is just not carrying in the postseason. The Yankees played one game this year on June 18th where no home run was hit by either team. They played 2 here in the postseason.
The Yankees have hit 2. The opposition has hit 0.
Nada.
So Jimmy Rollins talking to himself back in the dugout. Ryan Howard thinking about an at bat. He has the only Philadelphia hit. There were 2 walks around that double in the first inning, but Sabathia got out of trouble by getting Ibanez. First pitch, a ball to Victorino. And the next from CC Sabathia. Ball and a strike. Jimmy Rollins is one of those electric personalities as you look at strike 1 on Victorino. And he went so far as to predict a Philadelphia victory in this World Series and predicted that it would happen in 5 games.
Phillies in 5, said J. Rowe.
That is hammered down the left field line, but foul.
Tell you, that pitch there, that was similar to the grand slam that Victorino hit against Sabathia last year. Cut fastball up and in. I don't know whether CC is going to come back inside with Victorino. If you're Shane, you look for that pitch away.
On 1-2. And a check swing didn't go around. 2-2.
Held up.
Victorino trying to get on in front of Chase Utley. A .342 hitter during his career in the postseason with 2 strikes. And he grounds to short. 2 bounces to Jeter. 2 out. This World Series is a Northeastern World Series. I-95. About a 2-hour drive, depending on how close to the speed limit you want to go. Under $12 in tolls, you cross 2 rivers, the Hudson and the Delaware. Rest stops 5, which is something you need to know if you're going to make the drive.
Yeah, they're even calling this the Amtrak Series. And when these 2 teams met 59 years ago in the World Series, 1950, the New York Yankees beat the Phillies 4 in a row. And the Whiz Kids were beaten by the New York Yankees.
Here's Utley. There's ball 1 upstairs. This is the 7th World Series for the Philadelphia organization. They're 2-4 in the previous 6. They won in 1980 over Kansas City, 4 games to 2, and they won last year, certainly behind Charlie Manuel over Tampa Bay. Here's a foul backing out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. On the other side, you've got the Yankees. They just wrapped up their 40th pennant. And so they're in the World Series for the 40th time. This is the 105th World Series as we play here between New York and Philly. The Yankees have won 26 World Championships, but none since 2000 when they beat the Mets. Strike 2 on Utley. And a look at the interior of this brand new facility. First year at the new Yankee Stadium. The Yankees won it all in the first year at their old Yankee Stadium, 1923. The 1-2. 2-2.
He shook off 3 breaking balls and then a fastball away. I think he wants to come inside on Utley. You encourage pitchers to shake you off. I mean, after all, they're the ones who have to make the pitch. Now he shakes off. He wants a changeup. He shook off the fastball inside.
Still 2-2. Chase Utley with that first inning walk has now reached base by a hit, walk, being hit by a pitch in 26 straight postseason games. Trying to get on again in front of Ryan Howard. 2-2 pitch. And a pop-up left side. Rodriguez is out First year in the new stadium, the Yankees won it in 1923. Lost in the World Series during the renovation. And here they are in 2009 in the Fall Classic. Again, the 2-2. And again, a foul ball. These two lineups would love to make these starting pitchers work here tonight. Try to get at either the middle or the setup relief in each bullpen. Already the 53rd pitch of the night, and it's ball 3 up and in to Chase Utley. So the Phillies have made Sabathia work. Sabathia does not look as sharp as he has the first 3 tries this postseason. That ball is hit down the right field line into the corner. Back at the track. It is 1-0 Phillies. Utley goes deep. And Philadelphia strikes first in game 1. Second home run this postseason for Chase Utley, and that quiets this packed house at Yankee Stadium.
Jorge Posada put down the index finger, fastball away. Sabathia, a fastball in the fat part of the plate. And it was Utley who had 31 home runs during the regular season to get the first one here in the World Series.
Third career World Series home run for Chase Utley. He went deep twice last year against the Rays, and now Ryan Howard takes ball 1 low. So there is the first home run hit against the Yankees here at this Yankee Stadium this postseason, as they play their 6th home game. A 1-0. Yes. Howard went around, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Joe, he fouled off some very, very tough pitches, did Utley. Fouled him off the other way and finally caught up to that fastball.
The 1-1 from Sabathia. 96. Gets that look on the face from Ryan Howard as Sabathia gave the Phillies first baseman his best fastball of the night.
That was an after a home run fastball there. A little extra anger in that fastball.
And he ties up Ryan Howard to end the top of the 3rd. 4 strikeouts, the 1 hit, no walks, around the plate with everything. He misses barely. Ball 1, a little extra look in at the home plate umpire, Jerry Davis. 1-0 Philadelphia on the home run by Chase Utley. And now a ball and a strike on Nick Swisher, who is just 4 out of 32 this postseason. The 1-1. Ball's down, 2-1. It'll be Swisher, then Cabrera, then Jeter. Against Cliff Lee, who really hides the baseball well when he brings it home. And Swisher pops it up. Wynn plays with it a little bit, and Ryan Howard hauls it in. 1 away to start the bottom of the 3rd inning here in the Bronx. For each home run hit in this 2009 postseason, MasterCard will donate $1,000 to Stand Up to Cancer. 47 home runs have been hit. $47,000 pledged by MasterCard. For more information, visit standup2cancer.org. Really groundbreaking research being done to fight that awful disease. So definitely worthwhile you checking it out. Standuptocancer.org as Melky Cabrera takes a strike. And now the next from Cliff Lee, down and in, 1 ball, 1 strike. Cabrera, his first 8 postseason games, hit 148. His last 7, he's hit 370. Had a good ALCS, and he's in the hole here, 1-2.
Or you could see that cutter cutting down and in to Melky Cabrera.
And Cabrera pops it up right side for Utley. 2 out. And nothing very loud off the Yankee bats so far tonight. Join Major League Baseball in helping our returning veterans. Log on to MLB.com or welcomebackveterans.org for more information on how you can make a difference. And now with 2 out, nobody on, here is Jeter, who struck out his first time up. And a line drive is past Ryan Howard down the right field line. It gets to the corner. Jeter will get to second with a 2-out double.
We talked to Joe Girardi before the game about whether the Yankees would try to slow down Cliff Lee. And sure enough, Derek Jeter was very deliberate before stepping into the box there. He took his time, as he often does. He put his right hand up, and sure enough, on the first pitch, he doubles down the right field line. But that is part of the Yankees' strategy tonight, is to try and slow down the motion of Cliff Lee. He's working very, very fast and working to his rhythm and not to the Yankees thus far.
There's Johnny Damon after the double. Ball 1. Derek Jeter started this night with a career .414 average during the postseason against left-handed pitching. And he is now 12 for 29 in his career against Cliff Lee. Damon takes a strike. Damon struggled in the division series, went 1 for 12 against the Twins. Hit in a simulated game during the break before the ALCS, went 9 for 30. And a weak wave at that pitch, strike 2.
The American League left fielders against left-handed pitching will play Johnny Damon over toward the line. Francisco in left field is not nearly over toward the line as most American League left fielders would do. They would be, I think, 5 feet to the right, particularly against a left-handed pitcher, because Johnny Damon's more apt to go the other way with 2 strikes.
And he breaks his bat, hits it to third for Phillies, who gets the out. Pedro Phillies, one of the best defensive third basemen in the game. We welcome you back. It is the 4th inning, 1-0. Philadelphia on the home run by Chase Utley. That was last inning. Sabathia brings it home, and inside ball 1 to Jason Worth. Last 2 seasons, including the postseason, you see what he's done against left-handed pitching. 31 home runs, most across baseball. Had a chance to visit with Joe Girardi, the Yankee manager. We'll play that for you during this 4th inning. Up above, tonight's aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. For the most sports in HD, call 1-800-DirecTV. Rain has let up quite a bit. And the 1-1. Change-up foul back, and that's strike 2. Some of the celebrities who are here tonight. Mark Messier, Giuliani, Alec Baldwin, Cade Hudson, Kurt Russell, Jeff Gordon. Here's a 1-2. 2-2.
That fastball missing to Jason Worth. I'll tell you, Jason Worth can handle that pitch inside. But the Yankees may show it to him, but then go back out there, make him reach.
And fooled on the pitch. Posada finishes the play. 1 out. Here's our visit with Joe Girardi, and the first question was about what he's seeing so far from his left-hander Sabathia.
He hasn't been quite as sharp with the location of his fastball, and they've gotten him in some long counts. He's done a pretty good job of minimizing the damage to the solo home run to Utley, but they've made him work hard.
And it looks like you're going to have your hands full with Cliff Lee.
Yeah, he's doing a good job of getting ahead of our hitters, elevating at times when he's ahead, throwing the cutter. He's done a nice job so far.
Have you been told anything about this weather? Is this something that's on your mind?
Not really. I think we're going to get some drizzle during the course of the night, but I think we should be okay. I think the heavy stuff is gone.
Congratulations on winning the pennant and being here in the World Series.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Second year as manager of the New York Yankees, the 45-year-old Joe Girardi, who has 3 rings from his days as a player with the New York Yankees, playing for Joe Torre. 96, 98, 99. Good fastball from Sabathia. And the count 1-1 on Ibanez.
Blows this one by Raul. We talked about the signing of CC Sabathia. What about the Phillies and the foresight of signing Raul Ibanez? He signed on December 16th, one of the great postseason signings in recent history.
And he is fooled on that pitch. Strike 2.
That's the second check swing of the night to Ibanez. You know what I mean? I mean, most teams, they win a World Series. They don't go out and sign free agents. The Phillies knew they had a weakness in left field. They immediately signed Ibanez. And has he ever delivered this year?
A 1-2. And that skips in there. It was the right move. A lot of money, but it turned out to be the correct decision made by Ruben Amaro Jr., who is the general manager. You're taking over for Pat Gillett for the Philadelphia Phillies, and a very talented general manager is Ruben Amaro, helping to put this team together for Charlie Manuel. A career high 34 home runs for Ibanez in 09, and he strikes out for the 3rd consecutive strikeout for Sabathia. 2 out here in the 4th.
And the curveball released at 80 miles an hour, but in the hitting area, 75 miles an hour. And Ibanez with a little under a half a second to react. Not a lot of time, and frozen on the curveball.
So for Sabathia, no strikeouts until 2 out in the 3rd. After the home run by Utley, he has struck out the next 3 batters. That is over but low. You see the HK on the chest of Ben Francisco. That's to honor the late Harry Callis. And his sport coat hanging in the dugout for the Phillies. Passed away on the 13th of April. Beginning part of the season, and the longtime terrific voice of a sweet man, Harry Callis, was silenced, and his Philadelphia club has his initials on the chest as they play here in 2009. 2-0 pitch is flied into center, right at Cabrera. 4 in a row retired by Sabathia. Cliff Lee rolling on the other side. Heart of the order coming up for the Yankees, down by 1. It is a World Series that features 20 All-Stars, 3 former MVPs, 3 former Cy Young Award winners. And that includes the guy who will take the ball for Philadelphia tomorrow night here at Yankee Stadium, Pedro Martinez. Will take on A.J. Burnett. Right now, 1-0 Philadelphia. Bottom of the fourth inning, heart of the order for the Yankees. Teixeira first up. Struck out his first time. Took a ball. And now another 2-0. Slow start to the ALCS for Teixeira. Had 4 hits and 4 RBIs the last 2 games. As that series went 6. 2-0 pitch is in for strike 1. We had a chance to visit with Rich Doobie, the pitching coach for the Phillies during the last break. He watches Lee on 2-1 and now 2-2. Try to get that interview to you here in the bottom of the 4th. Rich in his 5th year with the big league club as their pitching coach, and 8th year in the organization for Philadelphia. He's done a nice job. 2-2 pitch. And another strikeout for Cliff Lee. And first question was obviously about the left-hander for Rich Doobie and how well he's pitching.
Well, he's throwing the ball very well right now, and he's been in a good run for us, so hopefully that'll continue.
How in the world, Rich, does he hold that breaking ball and have the control with that one finger sticking into the seam like it is?
Well, a lot of guys throw that spike curveball now, and you become accustomed to doing it that way. So even with the cold weather, he's got good feel for it, and it's a big pitch for him.
And I know that baseball teams don't like to look ahead, but the final question's about your starter tomorrow night. Pedro Martinez is a legitimate guy who wants the baseball in big games, and you have your right-hander going tomorrow.
Yeah, we put Pedro in between Cliff and Cole Hamels, and just splits the 2 lefties. Plus, Pedro's pitched in this type of environment in this city so many times.
We appreciate your time, Rich. Thank you.
All right, thank you, guys.
0-2, the count on Rodriguez, who is set up for another strikeout, and Lee has struck out 5 through 3 1/3.
Here's that pitch that Rich Doobie is talking about. And you can see that index finger. And there is the spike curveball. That was to Derek Jeter earlier.
Rodriguez hops out. And now too far inside, drives Rodriguez off the plate. A ball and 2 strikes. This Yankee team was 13-15 without Rodriguez in their lineup. Rehabilitating after that hip surgery, and then finished 90-44. And what a run they've been on here at home. Too far inside again, 2-2.
You may have noticed Carlos Ruiz shaking his head 3 times, getting Cliff Lee to shake his head along with him. And they came back with the same pitch, the inside fastball. Catchers will do that a lot. They'll get the pitcher to shake his head with him, and then come back with the same pitch. Here it is again.
Fastball high, full count. Talked about the Yankees record at home, 36-8 here in their new home stadium since the All-Star break. 5-0 here at home during the postseason.
Changeup.
And another strikeout for Cliff Lee, the 6th of the night. And he has 4 against the combination of Teixeira and Rodriguez.
That was an interesting pitch on the 3-2 count. Cliff Lee and Ruiz started Rodriguez off with a changeup and finished him off with a changeup. It's a pretty good job of pitching right there. Changeup, 5 fastballs, changeup to get it.
And now Posada, who has one of the 2 Yankee hits. Phillies have only 2 hits, but one of them left the park off the bat of Chase Utley. Ball 1 outside. It's out of play. 1-1. Yankees led Major League Baseball in home runs with 244. The Phillies led the National League in home runs with 224. There are actually two teams that will steal a base as well. Phillies had the top stolen base percentage, over 80% during the season across the big leagues. And we're number 2 overall with 119 stolen bases. They come at you a lot of different ways. So far, it's been those two guys, Lee and Sabathia, and one swing by Utley. Two and two. So Cliff Lee could strike out the side here in the 4th inning. And he does. 7 strikeouts on the night. We go into the 5th inning as Cliff Lee took care of Teixeira, Alex Rodriguez, and then Jorge Posada. 1-0 Philadelphia. Back after this from your local Fox station. What a day Sunday will be here on Fox. The Giants at the Eagles at 1 Eastern, a battle for first in the NFC East. The Vikings at the Packers with Brett Favre's return to Green Bay in the late window at 4:15 Eastern. And then we will have game number 4 of this World Series for you at night. All of that in high definition here on Fox this Sunday. Pedro Feliz grounded out his first time. And there are his numbers in his postseason career. Ruiz will follow, and then Jimmy Rollins against Sabathia. And it seemed like the home run by Chase Utley kind of steered CC Sabathia back into the right lane, because he has been really good with 3 consecutive strikeouts. He got Francisco on a fly ball out, and he's 0-2 on Feliz. And now he strikes him out. Strikeout number 4 for Sabathia.
Both left-handers dealing with a great deal of confidence now. On the 0-2 pitch, Feliz is called out.
Here comes Ruiz, who checked into this game hitting .385 over his last 13 postseason games, and giving the Phillies big hits from the bottom of their order during the postseason. His numbers date back to Game 2 of last year's World Series, and he takes ball 1. How ironic that this Game 1 of the World Series would feature the matchup of Sabathia and Cliff Lee. Former teammates pitched here in April when the Yankees opened their new home park for the regular season on the 16th. And trying to see who gets the leg up in this World Series here tonight. Lee traded from the Indians to the Phillies at the deadline, and the count now 1-2 on Ruiz.
Sabathia found his Cleveland Indians 2 years ago, 3-1 up on the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox came back and won 3 in a row. And CC saying that he used to always love to watch the World Series. Well, that year in 2007, he did not see the World Series. He said he couldn't stand to watch it. And here he is in it 2 years later.
Here's a 1-2 to Ruiz. Left side, ground ball for Jeter. And that's out number 2. And Ken Rosenthal, I know you know more about the relationship between CC Sabathia and Cliff Lee.
Joe, they are very close. In fact, Cliff Lee considers CC Sabathia his best friend in baseball. After they faced each other in that game you referenced earlier, first game at the new Yankee Stadium, they went back to CC's house and Lee couldn't help but tease his friend. He said, "Dude, what was your problem? You couldn't put us away."
Well, he's trying to do it here tonight, albeit against a different team. That's when Lee was with the Indians. I think the ride of Cliff Lee is even more remarkable, which we'll get into in the bottom of the inning. Strike one on Rollins. And there you go. Former Indians still have LeBron. Clock's ticking. 3-0 for Sabathia. 2-0 for Cliff Lee. And just 1 run on 4 total hits in that matchup here tonight. Now Rollins is set up at 0-2.
See Posada setting up for the high fastball, and he gets it.
Rodriguez. Sabathia's retired 7 straight halfway through game number 1. They move Monument Park across 161st Street to the new stadium. 1-0 Philadelphia into the bottom of the 5th. We go into the bottom of the 5th inning here at Yankee Stadium. Yankees coming to the plate with Matsui, Cano, and Nick Swisher. 1-0 on the home run by Chase Utley. Cliff Lee is taking care of the rest. He has struck out 7, walked nobody, and allowed 2 hits, and his stuff is popping here tonight. First time former Cy Young Award winners have met in game 1 of a World Series since Greg Maddux and Orel Hershiser did it in 1995. It's 0-2, and both pitchers, for the most part, have been sharp. Sabathia not as sharp tonight as he has been his first 3 starts. Still very good. And he's now retired 7 straight after the home run by Utley. He's allowed 2 walks and 2 extra base hits. That's low. Ball 1.
And predictably, Joe, when you're in the bottom of the 5th inning and no leadoff batter has gotten the board for either side, you're going to have a low-scoring ball game. That is certainly the case this evening.
And that just missed. 2-2. The pace of Cliff Lee just drips with confidence.
Really does. Charlie Manuel wanted that curveball just a wee bit outside.
Setting up inside and just missing. And now it's a full count.
Sometimes a manager sitting on the bench can't tell whether the ball is inside or outside, but he'll go on the reaction of his catcher, in this case, Carlos Ruiz.
And up the middle. That's a leadoff base hit. And the Yankees do put their leadoff man on for the first time tonight. So with that, we give you our Autotrader.com ultimate pitcher comparison. Autotrader.com, the ultimate automotive marketplace. Cliff Lee now 4+ innings. Sabathia's gone 5. Lee's allowed 3 hits. Sabathia's allowed a home run, walk 2. 81 pitches for Sabathia. Lee's still in the 60s, and here's Robinson Cano. Ball 1. Both teams have won 7 games this postseason. And 5 of the 7 for each team has been a come from behind victory. One 1-0 on Cano. He flied to center his first time up. Good fastball from Lee.
Cano went around for strike 2. Couple of disputed calls on Matsui. He got a 3-2 fastball. Robinson Cano disputing this call, saying he didn't go around. If the bat head doesn't cross the plate, normally a third base umpire to a left fielder will not call that a strike.
Back to first base is Matsui. This is going to be interesting. Let's look.
He caught that. Yeah, that's a catch.
The ball. They got the wrong guy on first base.
That's right.
And then Matsui took off. Howard is off the bag. Matsui left the field, and Cano is standing at first base.
Yeah, Chase Utley comes over to Ryan Howard saying, tag Matsui, tag Matsui. It doesn't matter whether Cano is out or not. Now, you can see Rollins saying tag Matsui. He tagged the right guy. That should be a double play.
It should be. Now the umpires get together to talk it over and see what everybody saw. Rollins, it looked like, was trying to let it bounce.
Right.
To turn the 6-3 double play. But in the end, they got the right call with Rollins catching it in the air. But Matsui wandered off. Howard tags him out. It should be 2 out, nobody on. Instead, for some reason, Cano is standing at first base, which makes no sense.
I think what second base umpire Brian Gorman's going to do is get help from the other umpires. And if the ball did not hit the ground and Rollins had leather under it, and that was clear, then Matsui wandering off the base, but Howard tagging him, that's a double play.
Well, it's good to see him huddle up and get together and try to get this call right. There's been so much conversation about further use of instant replay during the postseason. Let's see what the call is. They're both out, 2 out. They got it right.
They got it right.
Joe Girardi is going to get the explanation from the home plate umpire and crew chief Jerry Davis, but this is the right call.
You know, the interesting thing, Joe, and you had it right immediately. I think Jimmy Rollins, by going to the bag right there, he made a bad throw, but I think he wanted to short hop that ball. But by putting leather under the ball, that means the batter, Cano, is automatically out. Matsui wandering off the bag, and the Phillies inadvertently get a double play. And it was the right call.
So now 2 out, nobody on in the bottom of the 5th inning. And the batter is Nick Swisher. So for the umpires who have been under fire this postseason for mistakes made, they deserve a lot of credit for initially getting that call at least confused, if not wrong, and then getting together in the middle of the diamond to get it right. And they did just that. So 2 out, nobody on, and a 1-0 pitch is over but low. 2-0 to Nick Swisher, who's 0 for 1.
I think Jimmy Rollins saw that Robinson Cano was not running hard out of the box. That's why he tried to short hop the ball. And then he went to second base after he had caught it.
Swisher pops it up. Shallow right. Utley says he wants it, but Worth calls him off, and the inning is over. A hit, a double play. Nobody left after 5. All Cliff Lee and Chase Utley. 1-0 Philadelphia. Tonight's aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. For the most sports in HD, call 1-800-DirecTV. Sabathia back to the hill. He's retired 7 straight. Victorino first up, then Utley and Howard. 2, 3, and 4 hitters. For Philadelphia, up on the Utley home run. Ball 1. And now ball 2, 2-0. Victorino has popped up, grounded out. Phillies come into this World Series with 6 days off, just like they did last year. Charlie Manuel had a simulated game on Sunday to try to keep his team fresh. Yankees had their ALCS end on Sunday night. And a strike makes it 3-1 on Victorino. Victorino pops it into shallow left center field. The wind takes it out to Cabrera. 8 straight retired by Sabathia. 1 out top of the 6th in the in-game box score for the Phillies. Brought to you by Fox Business Network, the new home of the American Dream on DirecTV. Channel 359, or check your local listings, and you see just the 2 hits, but one of them left, and that was off the bat of Utley, who digs in now. He's also walked. Sabathia's walked 2, allowed a double, a homer. Cliff Lee has walked nobody, struck out 7, allowed 2 singles and a double. Utley takes strike 1.
Chase Utley will rarely chase the first pitch. About 80% of the time he will take strike 1. Obviously sees a lot of pitches because of that. Excellent 2-strike hitter, as he proved his last time up.
Strike 2 in this at bat with 1 out in the 6th. Because of a postponement and the longer schedule for this postseason, since the end of the regular season, these 2 teams have had 14 days off and have played 9 games. With a count of 0-2, 1 out, nobody on. The next is ripped foul down the right field line, just foul, and Utley almost didn't leave the batter's box.
There aren't too many hitters, left-handed hitters against left-handed pitchers, who can get around on that pitch, that tight pitch, with 2 strikes like Utley, because most guys will be guarding the plate and they're not as quick inside. But Utley still with those lightning hands, even with 2 strikes. Coming back inside.
And a shot into right. Utley has gone deep again. What a night. 2-0 Philadelphia.
Chase Utley with 2 home runs with 2 strikes. Here's the sign from Posada. CC did not want the breaking ball, so he comes back inside, does not get it inside, gets it over the fat part of the plate. It's similar to the last home run he hit. Put a charge in that one.
That ball was pounded. Chase Utley, Tim, came into this series with people wondering if he was okay physically. He fouled a ball off his right foot toward the end of the regular season. Still working his way back. We talked about the hip surgery during the offseason. He went just 4 out of 19 against the Dodgers, but here tonight he's walked once, homered twice. And it's the Chase Utley, Cliff Lee show for the Phillies here in Game 1.
I remember last year trying to find out whether Chase had a bad hip. And his word to the media and everybody was, my hip's fine. Right after the season, he had it operated on. He does not want to get out of games. Talk about a guy who plays hurt is a throwback to another era. Greatest word you can compliment a player is to call him a gamer, and boy, you're looking at one right there.
Here's a 1-1. 1 ball, 2 strikes on the last guy to go deep twice in a World Series game. Last year in Game 4. Ryan Howard tonight has doubled, struck out. And that is fouled off his foot or leg. Let's go back to the first home run in the 3rd hit by Utley.
Outside part of the plate, really right down the pipe. And here's the 2nd home run, almost in the identical spot. 2-0 Phillies.
The 1-2 to Howard is down and away, 2-2. Ryan Howard with more RBIs over the last 4 seasons than anybody across baseball, and the 4th best total over a 4-year span in the history of the game. And he strikes out for the 2nd straight time. That's strikeout number 5 for Sabathia.
Good breaking ball from Sabathia gets Howard.
The Yankees in the bottom of the 6th inning will have Cabrera, Jeter, and Damon. Anybody gets on to Shera. Here's Jason Worth. 2 out, nobody on. Worth is 0 for 1. Off the end of the bat, strike 1.
Funny, Joe, when you think about Chase Utley and how close he stands to home plate, pitchers don't want to hit him. He was hit 24 times. That was the most in the majors this year. But when he's not getting hit, what he does, he pushes the ball from the inside part of the plate out over the fat part of the plate, which really is ideal for a guy who's a pull hitter like Utley is. You don't want to hit him if you're a pitcher, so instead of coming in and missing inside, you end up missing over the fat part of the plate. For a guy who can hit like Utley, that's not a good place to miss.
One and one. Pitch misses up, and now 2 balls and a strike. Worth walked in the first. That's when the Phillies loaded the bases for Ibanez, who had the count in his favor, eventually grounded out. Cliff Lee has been in charge from the beginning for Philadelphia, and Sabathia now has allowed 3 extra base hits, 2 walks, as he misses high with ball 3, 3-1 on Worth. With 2 out. Off the end of the bat, Cano to his left, can't get to it, and it's a 2-out single for Jason Worth.
If you're a first baseman, you have to make your mind up immediately whether to field the ball like that. It looked like Teixeira wanted to go after it, his first instinct. There was a hesitation there, and Cano went after it, And even had he made this play, I don't think he gets Worth. Jason runs too well. Speaking of that, now CC Sabathia will have to watch Worth, who loves to get a jump and run.
The 100th pitch of the night coming from Sabathia. Instead, it's a throw over to first for Worth, who so far this postseason doesn't have a steal, but despite all the power, 36 home runs, he stole 20 bases and might be the best athlete on this Philadelphia Phillies team.
That's right. Worth looking at Davey Lopes. Davey Lopes, one of the great base stealers of his era. Second baseman for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Talk about a guy who knows what he's doing at first base.
Big rip by Ibanez. Strike one. Davey Lopes, at first base coach, 3 times played in the World Series against the Yankees. While with the Dodgers. 77, 78, and 81. That is strike 2 on Ibanez. The 37-year-old Raul Ibanez in his first year with the Phillies. And Ibanez strikes out. 2 home runs in this game for Chase Utley. The first one on the 59th pitch of the night from Sabathia. The second on the 90th. And after 5.5, 2-0 Philly. Well, there's a pitching matchup that was talked about so much coming into this game 1. And so far, Cliff Lee has had the better of his buddy CC Sabathia as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Melky Cabrera first up. 2-0 Philadelphia on the strength of 2 Chase Utley home runs and a strike from Cliff Lee, and Cabrera didn't agree with the call.
Melky Cabrera in that game against the Angels when he had the 3 hits, driving in 2 runs with a double his 4th time up. Had a bunt base hit his first time up in that game. And now he's in the hole. Well, Cliff Lee is just doing a terrific job of staying ahead and finishing off Yankee hitters tonight. That's the spike curveball grip.
And it's in the dirt. Ball 1. On 1-2. Cabrera off the end of the bat into right for Jason Worth. 1 away in the bottom of the 6th. Take a look at this scene before us. It's game 1 of the World Series, and it's our Verizon game summary. We can summarize this game very easily. 2 swings of the bat from Chase Utley. 2 home runs. And the suffocating pitching of Cliff Lee. Here's Jeter, 1 for 2. The only extra base hit of the night for the Yankees, and he takes a ball outside. Cliff Lee came up from the minors with the Indians in 02. 14-8 in 04, 18-5 in 2005, a 14-game winner in 2006. But then it gets interesting. The 1-0 pitch. 2-0. 5-8 and hit by injuries in 2007. Was injured during the spring, came back, was ineffective, was sent to the minor leagues. And when the Indians were in the ALCS in 07, he was not on the roster. Last year he won the Cy Young as Jeter gets a base hit. And the reigning AL Cy Young Award winner will face the tying run at the plate with Johnny Damon coming up.
Second hit for Derek Jeter. And the Yankees trying to get 2 men on base in 1 inning. They have not done that thus far.
Damon is 0 for 2. The pair groundouts. 2 for 24 in his career against Cliff Lee. He was 7-9 with the Indians when he was traded to Philadelphia with Ben Francisco for 4 players on July 29th. The club option on Cliff Lee through next season. Started out 5-0 after 5 starts with the Phillies. And he's been brilliant this postseason. Ball 1 to Damon. If you're just joining us, mist has been falling pretty much since the beginning after a day of heavy rain in the New York area. 2-0 to Damon is fouled back. A matchup of Cliff Lee and CC Sabathia. 51-degree night. Wind has died down a bit since the beginning. Here comes a 2-1 to Johnny Damon. 2-2.
Trying to come inside, and he does. Inside part. And again, it's 2 strikes on Damon. We talked about it his first at bat with 2 strikes. You have to play him shallow in the off field. Francisco could be in another 3 steps. That's the type swing that Damon takes with 2 strikes. Johnny cuts down on it, and that limits him hitting the ball a long way to left field. Now he can pull the ball, but the left fielder's really not responsible for the ball's hit down the right field line.
The 2-2. Poking at it, fouling it left side. Staying up there with a 2-2 count against Lee, who's pitched 29 innings this postseason and allowed 2 earned runs. Wow. Little pop-up. Lee will take it himself. Made that look easy.
That was a rather nonchalant grab.
Guys in the World Series. That's out number 2 here in the 6th.
Get excited, will you? Ho hum. That had to draw smiles from every teammate, except the ones on the field.
Here's Teixeira. 1 on, 2 out. The 3, 4, 5 hitters in this Yankee lineup combined 1 for 6 with 5 strikeouts. So Lee has saved his best stuff for the heart of the order for New York. Ball 1.
I just wonder if Cliff Lee was thinking about dropping that ball and throwing to first and perhaps getting Jeter going to second base. Don't know. That's going to be my first question for him tomorrow.
2-0 to count on Teixeira with the dangerous Alex Rodriguez on deck. There's the catch, and there's the reaction from his manager, Charlie Manuel. Here's a ground ball up the middle, taken by Utley, who steps on the bag before Jeter can get there, and we go to the 7th inning. Game 1 of the World Series, 2-0 Philadelphia here at Yankee Stadium. As we go into the 7th inning, and Ben Francisco first up. Pedro Feliz, then Carlos Ruiz, the 7, 8, and 9 hitters against CC Sabathia. 2-0 Philadelphia, and the count goes to 2-0 as Phil Hughes gets loose for the Yankees in their bullpen. There's a strike, 2-1. Phillies lead at 2-0. They've gone 18-5 over their last 23 postseason games. Reigning world champs lead game 1. 2-1 pitch is low, 3-1.
Asking Joe Girardi about the possibility of CC Sabathia coming back in game 4 and starting that game. He said it depends on what happens tonight. And that was the 108th pitch that Sabathia has thrown on the evening.
Popped up right side, foul ball, and it is out of play. So the count full, 3-2. Game 2 is tomorrow night, on Thursday night. It's A.J. Burnett against Pedro Martinez. As Charlie Manuel had a flair for the drama of sending Pedro Martinez to the mound here in New York at Yankee Stadium against him, A.J. Burnett. Here's a 3-2 to Francisco. And it's a leadoff walk. Third walk of the night for Sabathia. And with Feliz coming up, how much longer will Joe Girardi stay with Sabathia? A, he's been a little off here tonight, and B, like you say, and you read my mind, is the possibility of bringing Sabathia back on short rest for game 4.
Yeah. The one thing that Charlie Manuel does not like to do is bunt. Sacrifices are few and far between for the Phillies.
And the result, 5-4-3 double play. Rodriguez to Cano, and then on to Teixeira, and just like that, 2 out, nobody on for the team that had the second fewest sacrifices in the National League during the regular season.
Lace really with a good pitch to hit, but right at Rodriguez, who turned it easily.
The bases are empty for Ruiz. In the bottom of this 7th, it'll be Rodriguez, Posada, and Matsui, the 4, 5, and 6 hitters against Cliff Lee. Foul, strike 1.
Joe would like to send our sympathies and thoughts along to Marvin Miller, the former executive director of the Major League Baseball Players Association. Marvin's wife, Terry, passed this morning. The most influential man outside the lines in the history of baseball, in my view.
And a person who should be in the Hall of Fame.
That's right.
Right at Rodriguez. His throw is good enough. And we are at the 7th inning stretch of game number 1. Shots of the Hall of Fame here at Yankee Stadium. Now that's a Hall of Fame when you've got a history like the Yankees.
Yeah, it really is. And I'll tell you, Cliff Lee's pitching like a Hall of Famer tonight. Think about it. He's had 7 strikeouts in 6 innings and thrown only 86 pitches. That's economizing for a guy who struck out that many.
And it's really the way he's doing it and against whom he's doing it, because he's handled the middle part of this Yankee lineup, and he has been in charge just about since the first batter he faced when he struck out Derek Jeter to start the bottom of the first. He has handled Rodriguez twice with a pair of strikeouts. And he leads it off in the 7th inning and takes a ball. Rodriguez, Posada, Matsui. Ball and a strike. In-game box score for the New York Yankees. Derek Jeter has 2 hits, a pair of singles for Posada and Matsui. Jeter has the only extra base hit for the Yankees, and that's brought to you by Fox Business Network, the new home of the American Dream on DirecTV channel 359. That's to the third baseman Phillies, who throws across for the out. And Alex Rodriguez is 0 for 3. Here comes Posada, who has a hit and a strikeout. Cliff Lee is picking up right where he left off against the Dodgers. And when he took on Los Angeles, he picked up right where he left off against the Colorado Rockies. Those are the steps the Phillies have taken to get to this point. Ball 1 inside.
Earlier we talked about Cliff Lee and how he goes through that phantom throw to second base, and even when the guys are working on the mound, hey, get out of my way. Going through his phantom pitch that he throws before warming up every half inning.
Here's a pitch up and away, 2-0. Posada will be followed by Matsui, and Sabathia has exited the dugout as Phil Hughes continues to get warm in the bullpen. We'll take the 8th. There's a strike, and it's 2-1. Check swing. Little comebacker to Cliff Lee, who takes it himself and pats Posada on the backside as he sends Posada back to the dugout, 2 out. So 7 strikeouts on the night, and he has 2 quiet outs to start the 7th inning with Rodriguez and Posada, and Matsui digs his way in, 1 for 2.
I think what you said earlier, Joe, about the Yankees being 36-8 since the All-Star break. That's how well Cliff Lee is pitching tonight. You're going against a red-hot team here in Game 1 of the World Series in this ballpark, leading the majors in home runs. He is just lights out so far tonight.
Yankees have been shut out 5 times this season, once here at home. That's off the end of the bat to Pedro Feliz. Just dominant pitching from Cliff Lee. We have played 7, 8th inning now. Phillies coming up. They lead the Yankees 2-0. Just beautiful shots all night long of a ballpark that's as pretty outside as it is inside here in the Bronx. And the aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. For the most sports in HD, call 1-800-DirecTV. Phil Hughes takes over. He was terrific out of the bullpen. A 1.40 ERA and 44 relief appearances during the regular season. Postseason's been a little different. Pitched 6 games, has an ERA of 5.79. He's allowed 3 runs, 9 hits, and 4 2/3 innings. Jimmy Rollins first up, took a ball, and and now another. And Ken Rosenthal is still with us from down on the field level. Why do the Yankees want Phil Hughes to start an inning as opposed to coming in with somebody on base?
Well, one advantage here, Joe, is that he starts innings clean out of the windup. And the Yankees have been asking Phil Hughes, hey, slow down, trust your stuff. Hughes told me it's easier for him to do that out of the windup than out of the stretch.
He finds the strike zone here in the count 2-1. And Joe Girardi is asked about it, and he lets you in a little bit. He talks about the inexperience across his bullpen. Here's Rollins hitting one down the right field line, hooking into the corner. It's foul. He says, you know, you think about it. Phil Cope, a young guy. Robertson, a young guy. Aceves, young guy. Jabba, Phil Hughes. He said, I'm not complaining. They're all very good, but they're all very young as they make their way through this postseason. And Phil Hughes has the count even on Jimmy Rollins, 2-2.
And the very young Phil Hughes, you see Jabba Chamberlain right there, but he will probably be picked up by Damaso Marte, who is warming. And there's only one reason that Marte is warming, or actually two reasons. Utley and Howard, who are due up third and fourth if Ryan Howard gets up in this inning.
Switch hitter Victorino on deck. 2-2 on Jimmy Rollins, who's 0 for 3. And a foul tip keeps him up there. It speaks to how well CC Sabathia has pitched this postseason. That when you say he went 7, allowed 2 runs on 4 hits, struck out 6, walked 3, 2 home runs allowed, that he had an off night.
Only thing that has made his night an off night is Cliff Lee.
Lee has pitched 7 shutout innings and allowed 3 hits. Make it 4. And now a leadoff walk from Phil Hughes. So the leadoff man is on. We look ahead to tomorrow night as we play in this 2-0 game here in the 8th inning, game 1. The matchup of Pedro Martinez got a no decision with 7 innings of 2-hit shutout baseball against the Dodgers. Against A.J. Burnett, 3 starts this postseason, an ERA of just under 4.5.
If you think Yankee Stadium was jumping tonight, wait till tomorrow night with Pedro out there.
What is supposed to be better. And they will see their old friend Pedro Martinez on the mound for the Phillies.
Pedro Martinez saying today that I might be the only guy who brings fear to fans without throwing a pitch. He can light up Yankee Stadium, old and new.
And while the Yankees have to think, here we go again with Phil Hughes with a leadoff walk. Rollins starts and stops, and ball 1 outside to Victorino.
You get the feeling Rollins is going to start at first base. And the next time that fake break, he's going to keep going. Rollins with 31 steals on the year.
Caught 8 times.
Talking to Davey Lopes, the first base coach.
Victorino 0 for 3 against Sabathia. Starts and stops on ball 2 to Shane Victorino. Just an embarrassment of riches is what lot of people thought about the Yankees with their short relief getting to Mariano Rivera coming into this postseason with guys like Phil Hughes and Jabba Chamberlain out of the rotation down there, and David Robertson and the way he had pitched, and Phil Coke. But it hasn't been too sharp for that group. Mariano Rivera has been asked to do a lot already this postseason to get the Yankees to this spot, including a 2-inning save on Sunday night to end the ALCS. There's ball 3 to Victorino. 3-0. There goes Rollins. The pitch is a strike. The throw down is not in time, and the first stolen base season for Jimmy Rollins.
A 3-0 pitch allowed Victorino to put the bat in front of catcher Jorge Posada. That is a real distraction when you're a catcher and you're trying to come out of the chute in a hurry. 3-0, he knows he's going to take, and that little movement can really distract a catcher, and Rollins steals a base.
Now the count's 3-1, and Victorino goes after a high fastball, full count. You surprised at all that they were running on 3-0?
3-0, you normally don't run. Do you know who was one of the most proficient at running 3-0 and making it? Lou Brock, one of the great stolen base champs of all time.
Now a 3-2 pitch. Victorino stays alive.
But you're right. If you run 3-0, your percentage has to be much, much higher. You cannot be thrown out because the hitter's in such a favorable count.
Now Jimmy Rollins and Derek Jeter share a smile. The two played together during the World Baseball Classic. And Rollins peppered Derek Jeter with questions. Here's a 3-2. And back-to-back walks to start the inning for Phil Hughes. That'll bring out Girardi. And Hughes, with Utley coming up, is coming out. The Yankees added another right-handed reliever in Brian Bruni for this World Series round. And Phil Hughes comes in and walks the first two. A stolen base mixed in. There's the moment between Rollins and Jeter, and a pitching change in the 8th for New York. Damaso Marte, the left-hander, takes over for Phil Hughes, who walked the first two batters of the inning and then was barking at the home plate umpire on his way off the field, Jerry Davis. Meanwhile, it's Utley, who has had a perfect night at the plate, a walk, 2 home runs. And Marte gives a look back at Jimmy Rollins. Utley is the second left-handed batter to hit 2 home runs, a left-handed pitcher in a World Series game. The other one, wow, Babe Ruth.
That's great.
1928, Game 4.
Man.
Instead of for the Yankees, it's against the Yankees, and it's Utley and not Babe Ruth. And Utley takes ball 1 down and away. The retired number of Babe Ruth is Utley waits for a 1-0 pitch from Marte. And neither one have been close. 2-0, and this crowd, which has been packed in from the beginning and dealt with wind and rain, is starting to groan here with the erratic pitching of the Yankee bullpen.
2 straight walks by Phil Hughes, and now 2 balls and no strikes to Chase Utley.
On deck, Ryan Howard. Here's a 2-0. 2-1. 1-2-1. There's strike 2.
Chase Utley thought it was outside, but Marte gets the call.
Our unofficial look at it on Fox Tracks as Posada now goes out to talk to the 34-year-old left-hander Damaso Marte, who pitched in only 21 games during the regular season, had a 1-3 record and an ERA of 9.45.
Shoulder problems limiting him to only 21 appearances.
The 2-2. And got him looking one away.
Boy, did Marte drop that breaking ball in to Chase Utley after 4 fastballs. Curveball gets him. Good breaking ball. And here are the 4 fastballs. The first 2 miss. 2-0 pitch for a strike. 2-1 pitch Utley thought outside, but the curveball gets it.
In steps Ryan Howard. It's interesting because as we sit here, this does not feel like a 2-0 game. It doesn't feel like a 2-run game with the Yankees down by just 2 because of the pitching of Cliff Lee.
Yeah, that's right.
On the other hand, the Phillies have had questions around their bullpen all year because of the blown saves by their closer, Brad Lidge. That's in the air to right. Swisher back to get it. That's out number 2. Tagging and going to third is Rollins. First and third, 2 out.
Yeah, Joe, I think because of the pitch count of Cliff Lee, Charlie Manuel would be more inclined to stick with Lee, certainly in the 8th, and maybe even the 9th, as Joe Girardi's not going to stick with Damaso Marte anymore.
So Marte comes in, gets 2 outs. Jason Worth is coming up. Robertson coming in. 2-0 Philadelphia in the 8th. Here's Robertson, first and third, 2 out, trying to keep it a 2-0 game. It was first and second, nobody out. Marte did a nice job. And now Worth takes a ball. Good speed on. Rollins over at third. Victorino at first. Worth is 1 for 2 with a walk, a strikeout, a base hit.
Yeah, what's going through Jorge Posada's mind right now is what to do with the ball in case Victorino runs. Do you throw through? Do you allow him to steal second base without a throw? And if you throw through, do you look Rollins back at third in the process?
1-0. High from Robertson, who so far this postseason 2-0. No earned runs, 3 games. 3 innings pitched, just 2 hits allowed. And now ball 3 as Robertson stares in at home plate umpire Jerry Davis. 3-0. And that's why he stared in. So a 3-0 pitch is low, and that loads the bases for Ibanez. So 3 walks in this inning by the Yankee bullpen, and Dave Island will come out and talk with Ibanez coming up. Maybe a refresher on what the Yankees plan to do with Raul Ibanez, who's 0 for 3. He's grounded out. He's struck out twice. Don't forget, on Sunday, a big day of sports here on Fox, all times Eastern at 1 o'clock. The Giants at the Eagles. Big battle in the NFC East. Vikings at the Packers at 4:15 with Brett Favre's return to Green Bay. And then the Phillies will be hosting the Yankees at 8 o'clock Eastern for Game 4 at Citizens Bank Ballpark. This is a big at bat in this game. Phillies up 2-0 and have a chance to blow it open. Ibanez at the plate, and he takes a strike. Second time Ibanez has been up with the bases loaded tonight. Grounded out in the first inning when he had this chance. The 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Strike 2. Now the 1-2. And Ibanez stays up there.
Here's a guy like David Robertson who only throws 91 miles per hour. And I say only because it appears that his fastball is about 5 miles an hour faster. He has swing and miss stuff, says Dave Allen, the pitching coach of the Yankees.
Led the American League in strikeouts per 9 innings pitched during the regular season. Is 1-2. 2-2. Robertson, who got out of a bases loaded nobody out situation in the division series game 2 against the Twins, and got the victory when Teixeira went deep in the bottom of the 11th. Working to Ibanez here, game 1 of the World Series, bases loaded, 2 out. 2-2. To the right side and through. Base hit, Ibanez. In to score is Rollins. In to score is Victorino, and it's 4-0 Philadelphia. A ground ball that found a hole through the right side, and the Phillies double their lead here in the 8th.
Think about the 2 strike hits by the Phillies tonight. Utley with 2 home runs on 2 strikes, and now Ibanez strikes with 2 strikes. So all 4 runs tonight scored by the Phillies have been scored on hits with 2 strikes on the batter.
So with that good speed, 2 runs with Rollins and Victorino crossing home plate. Now Ben Francisco goes after a high fastball, strike 1. Those runs are charged to Phil Hughes, who didn't retire a batter. Face 2, walk 2, and allows 2 runs. If there was any pressure on Cliff Lee, and he hasn't looked at all tonight like he's had any on him since the beginning, that gives him a little more breathing room. And we talked about, there have been problems during the regular season with this Phillies bullpen. It's a big hit. Now Rodriguez goes down on a knee, makes the play, and the inning is over. But damage is done. Back-to-back walks to start the inning. 2 runs on only 1 hit in the frame. Bottom of the 8th, game 1. 4-0 Philadelphia. What he did in 2 divisional starts against Colorado, 16 1/3, 2 earned runs, and he has not allowed a run since. In 15 innings pitched against the combination of the Dodgers and the Yankees. Strike 1 on Robinson Cano. Ryan Madson getting loose for Philadelphia in their bullpen. Bottom 3 in the order for the Yankees for Cliff Lee, who's allowed 4 hits, 7 strikeouts, no walks, and only 1 extra base hit. That is picked up by Lee behind his back. And even he has to smile as he grabbed it, whatever, right behind his back for out number 1.
Look at this. Wow. And think about the blasé catch that he made on Johnny Damon. The little pop-up back to the mound. There's nothing blasé about that play.
I mean, his body language is like he's pitching in spring training.
Yeah, just getting his work in. Man.
Why wouldn't he smile? No runs, 4 hits. And strike 1 with 1 out in the 8th inning to Nick Swisher, who's now 9 out of 58 in his career during the postseason. That's ball 1. Melky Cabrera next. Strike 2. 100 pitches on the night for Cliff Lee.
Well, you talk about a machine tonight. Man.
Swisher's popped up, fly to right. Big rip. Still 1-2. And here are the 2 plays with the glove by Cliff Lee while he's done all the other work with his left arm. Just the easy catch, and now this one on a comebacker behind his back. A 1-2.
Joe, you talk about the reaction time on Fox Tracks Plus from a pitcher releasing the ball to a hitter. What about the reaction time on a ground ball hit that hard and Cliff Lee has to go behind his back to make the play? Man, big time.
1-2 on Swisher, who's had 2 pretty good swings the last 2 deliveries against Cliff Lee. 2-2. You mentioned that the Yankees have been shut out once here at home in their new park during the 2009 season. It happened mid-June, June 18th. The hands of all teams, the Washington Nationals. 3-0 shutout victory shared between 5 pitchers. And Cliff Lee gets strikeout number 8, 2 out in the inning. The World Series on Fox is sponsored by American Express. Don't take chances, take charge. By DJ Hero, 93 original mixes now in your hands. And by Ford, drive one.
Talk about don't take chances, take charge. That's what Cliff Lee's done tonight.
Here's strike 1 on Cabrera. He just keeps rolling on. We've seen a couple of shots of Charlie Manuel down in that dugout. It looks like he's having the time of his life down there.
He does.
Very relaxed, really very intense. And Cabrera flies one into center. Cliff Lee has made this look easy. We go into the 9th, game 1. All Cliff Lee, who's doing it with his arm, with his glove behind his back. He's been a magician. Brian Bruni was added to the active roster for the Yankees for this 3rd round of the playoffs, the World Series. There is numbers from the regular season: 5-0, 3.92, on the disabled list 2 times. Had a strained muscle in his elbow. Hard throwing right-hander. He misses with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Ball 2, 2-0. Started the season wearing number 38 on his back. Changed his number in the middle of September to 99. Phillies first up, 2-0 pitch. 2-1. Phillies, then Ruiz, then Jimmy Rollins for the Phillies, who lead 4-0 here in game 1. 9th inning. And a pop-up. Right side for Robinson Cano, who makes the play. 1 out. Tonight's Walmart saving moments of the game. While Cliff Lee has done his part on the mound, to say the least, Chase Utley has done his part at the plate. Against the lefty CC Sabathia. Going deep twice, once in the 3rd, once in the 6th. On base 3 times in this game, and responsible for 2 of the 4 runs put up by the Phillies here in game 1. Here's Ruiz. Yankees in their half of this 9th inning will have the top of their order. That's why that hit by Ibanez was so big. A 2-out, 2-run single last inning, which took it from 2-0 to 4-0. Girardi will send in Jeter, Damon, and Teixeira.
You talk to the Philadelphia Phillies pitchers about Carlos Ruiz. They love to pitch to him. He absorbs things behind the plate. And when you're 0 for 3 as a catcher batting in the 9th inning, it is very satisfying when you consider that you are catching a shutout.
And it looks at the moment like Lee will go back out there. Here's a shot into left center field off the bat of Ruiz. He'll dig into second base with a double. And Carlos Ruiz is on with 1 out. And he gets his first World Series hit of 2009.
Well, the cake is a shutout by Cliff Lee. The icing is a double by Carlos Ruiz.
That is his 7th base hit during this postseason on the road in 17 at bats, and he's at second with 1 out for Jimmy Rollins. Popped up, foul, back and out of play. In case you're wondering, the winner of game 1, the winning team, has won each of the last 6 World Series. Phillies are 3 defensive outs away from winning game 1 as Phil Koch, the left-hander, gets loose. Here's the 0-1. Ball and a strike on a 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
I couldn't help but notice the batting glove on the left hand of Charlie Manuel. He is such a hitter's manager that he even wears a batting glove while he's managing. He said, if I'm going to manage a team, I need a strong pitching coach, and he has one in Rich Doobie.
Doobie is the pitching coach, and Charlie Manuel is a longtime hitting coach. 65-year-old Charlie Manuel in his 5th season as manager of the Phillies. A world champion last year. That's a squirter for a base hit. An infield base hit for Jimmy Rollins. He gets his first hit of this game 1. Right off the end of the bat. And it's 1st and 3rd with only 1 out.
Sometimes the ball has a mind of its own. You have nothing to do with it. As Rollins plops one about 70 feet down the 3rd baseline.
Sets up Shane Victorino, and here comes Joe Girardi jogging out to talk. But looking like he is not in the mood to make a pitching change, and he will not. Game 2 is tomorrow night, and it's a pitching matchup of Pedro Martinez and A.J. Burnett on the air at 7:30 Eastern. Don't forget, during our pregame, we come on the air at 7:30, Jay-Z and Alicia Keys will be performing here at Yankee Stadium. That's tomorrow night. And then some fireworks you can bet with Pedro Martinez getting the ball for Philadelphia.
You know, it's a good play at second base. Robinson Cano is not halfway for the double play. He's in about 3 more steps. And the reason for that is Victorino only grounded into 5 double plays during the regular season. So on a ball hit to Cano, he's got to make sure he can get the double play. Otherwise, come home with the slower Ruiz on at third base.
There's ball 1 to Victorino, who walked and scored his last time, hitless in this game. It's 7 RBIs this postseason.
An infielder in a situation like this is almost like a driver pulling from a stop sign, where you have to determine the speed of the cars coming the opposite way. Well, you have to determine the speed of the ball hit to know whether to go to second or home.
That base hit through the right side, and another run for Philadelphia. 5-0 here in the 9th inning. There's 3 straight hits from Ruiz, Rollins, and Victorino have added to the Phillies' lead. And that's going to be it for Bruni. Joe Girardi makes the call. Phil Koch is coming in. Chase Utley is coming up. And the Phillies are rolling here in game 1. 2 on, 1 out, leading 5-0 over the Yankees. Here's Phil Koch. The lefty takes over with Utley coming up. 3 straight hits for Philadelphia. And it's 5-0 Phillies in the 9th inning. A chance for more. Great speed on, and the hitting hero at the plate for the Phillies. Utley, who's homered twice, drawn a walk. 2 for 3. 2 on, 1 out. Ball 1. On the other side of it, in case you're wondering, the Yankees have never been shut out in game 1 of a World Series.
And this is the 40th time that they have played game 1 of a World Series.
The 1-0 pitch. It's a strike from Phil Koch. We open up that microphone at the second base bag, and you can hear Derek Jeter, as he's done throughout this postseason, talking through the runner at second, in this case Jimmy Rollins, to the pitcher Phil Koch. Trying to keep Rollins close with Utley at the plate. Stays quiet that time on ball 2 outside to Utley.
You could almost see Derek Jeter flailing that glove toward Phil Koch as saying, it's okay, go ahead. 2 pitches ago. Mix it up. When Jeter is telling a pitcher like that to mix it up, he means that don't just look at the runner at second base and then go home, and then look at the runner and then go home. Mixing it up means look back, then go home, and then look back twice and then go home. So what he's mixing up are the looks at second base, not his pitches.
2-1 pitch is down and away. So while worrying about Jimmy Rollins and listening to Derek Jeter and what have you, the count's gone to 3-1 on Utley. Babe Ruth homered 3 times in a World Series game 2 times, and of course Reggie Jackson. The Dodgers on the other end. Mr. October at the park tonight. 3-1 pitches, pop foul, backing out of play, full count. Again, the Yankees will have the top of their lineup to the plate in the bottom of this 9th inning. Barring a huge comeback, they'll hand the ball to Burnett tomorrow against Pedro Martinez, down a game in this World Series. (3-2). Fly ball in the air to right center for Cabrera. That's out number 2. Tagging going to third is Rollins. First and third, 2 out. So Utley retired for the 2nd straight time, and it's up to Ryan Howard. All the while, Cliff Lee looks like he's barely broken a sweat as he's pitched the first 8 innings, allowing no runs on 4 hits, 8 strikeouts, no walks, and he'll head back out there. The Yankees were shut out in their last World Series game, which was Game 6 in 2003 by Josh Beckett. Then of the Florida Marlins, 2-0 at the old Yankee Stadium. So their scoreless streak is now 17 straight innings in World Series baseball. First and third, 2 out, and strike 1 on Ryan Howard. Top of the order will try and change all that against Cliff Lee. The next is over but low.
Ryan Howard with 4 straight years of 40+ home runs and 130+ RBIs. 45 home runs this year, only 7 against left-handed pitching, but tremendous power the other way.
The 1-1 pitch is ripped into right field. That's a base hit. And more. It goes all the way to the wall. In to score is Rollins. They're going to wave Victorino to the plate. Throw by Cano. In time, and that ends the inning. But another run is on the board for Philadelphia, and it's 6-0 Phillies as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Top of the order coming up for the Yankees, dealing with Cliff Lee. The out at the plate that ends the top of the 9th. 6-zip Philly. What a night for Cliff Lee, and he will try to finish what he started. Mentioned the Josh Beckett shutout. That's also the last complete game shutout, period, in the World Series. It was Game 6 at Yankee Stadium. And it'll be the top of the order. That means Jeter, Damon, and Teixeira against Lee. Ryan Madson getting loose. He would take over if Cliff Lee has any issues at all here in the bottom of the 9th inning. 106 pitches to this point in the night. First pitch swinging, strike 1 on Jeter.
What an atypical game the Yankees are playing here at their new home. 4 base runners tonight, and in no inning did they have more than 1. No walks by Lee. So far, a masterpiece.
One of the base runners erased in a double play as Jeter takes strike 2. That's in the dirt. You can bet that Jackson Lee, Cliff Lee's 8-year-old son, is down in Benton, Arkansas, watching Dad try and finish this game here at Yankee Stadium. Jackson is the older brother to his sister Macy. What a statement by Lee and the Phillies here tonight as Jeter flares one into center. In comes Victorino. It's a base hit. And Jeter is on to start the 9th inning, and we'll see if the Phillies go any deeper into this game with Cliff Lee.
Well, I think you let Cliff Lee pitch to Johnny Damon. Victorino can't corral it. You at least allow Lee a chance to pitch to Damon. Even though Ryan Madson is ready in the bullpen, I don't think you bring him in now.
So Damon will bat. He's 0 for 3. Not only is it lefty on lefty, but we've talked about the fact that Damon is 2 out of 25 now in his career against Lee. And he has not hit the ball hard tonight. Takes the ball. Damon lines a base hit into right, and the Yankees trying to get up off the mat here in the 9th inning. 2 on, nobody out. Teixeira coming up. On deck is Alex Rodriguez. Out to the mound goes Carlos Ruiz with Ryan Madson getting loose. In a 6-0 game. Joe Girardi now is thinking about the runs that his bullpen has allowed here over the last 2 innings. 4 runs, 2 in the 8th, 2 in the 9th.
Yeah, those tack-on runs lose a lot of ball games. I think Charlie Manuel allowing Lee to pitch to Teixeira because Teixeira has struck out twice and popped to second tonight.
After the high delivery, strike 1. Teixeira in his postseason career is a 118 hitter with runners in scoring position. He has Jeter at second, Damon at first, nobody out. And that's up the middle. Utley flips out over to first. The throw into the dugout. There goes the shutout. Jeter will come to the plate in a 6-1 game, and down to second is Teixeira.
Jimmy Rollins trying to do too much instead of planning and throwing to first base. Teixeira is not a fast runner. Rollins tries to hurry his throw. Gets off on the wrong foot. Watch the right foot throw. Normally, a shortstop will try to pivot. I think Rollins had a little more time than he thought. So a throwing error on the part of Rollins. And here, Cliff Lee allowed to pitch to Alex Rodriguez.
6-1, Philadelphia. It's a force out at second base, and then an error on Jimmy Rollins, his second of the postseason. That's the first error of the night. Now Ruiz goes out to talk.
Notice how deliberate Chase Utley was on that ball. Infielders are trained to make sure of one when you're leading by 6 in the 9th inning. So it was a good job by Utley to make sure of that lead runner at second base.
114 pitches on the night for Cliff Lee. He will throw at least 115. A-Rod, strike 1. Pretty good zip, 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Rodriguez 0 for 3 tonight with a pair of strikeouts and a ground out. Strike 2. Still throwing hard here is Cliff Lee in the ninth. Ball one. The 1-2 to Rodriguez, and he strikes out for the third time tonight. And for Cliff Lee, strikeout number 9.
Once again, Alex Rodriguez entered this game with a .438 batting average in the postseason. 5 home runs, 12 RBIs. And Cliff Lee, a left-hander to the right-handed hitter, has struck him out 3 times.
As it stands right now, still no earned runs against Cliff Lee. Posada up, runner at second, 2 out, strike 1. Only run so far scoring on the throwing error by Jimmy Rollins. Share at second, 2 out, and the 0-1 fouled back, and now Cliff Lee is a strike away from a complete game. And I'm going to say that our radar gun just malfunctioned unless Cliff Lee threw a pitch 99.
I agree with that.
The legend grows. The 0-2. Still 0-2. It's more like it. 91, still good velocity. So much for the 6-day layoff for the Philadelphia Phillies. They lead here by 5 in the bottom of the 9th inning, and Cliff Lee has allowed only 2 earned runs in 33 postseason innings. Ends it with a strikeout of Jorge Posada. And total dominance on the part of the left-hander Cliff Lee, who was sensational here tonight for Philadelphia.
What an exhilarating performance by Cliff Lee.
In this postseason, 33 1/3 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, no earned runs here tonight on a 122 pitch night. And a full 9 from Cliff Lee. And clearly, he is the American Express take charge player of the game.
Throw the ball, man.
Here Charlie Manuel will say, way to throw the ball, man. And that is the understatement of the night. He threw it well, he caught it well, and he shut down this Yankee lineup. And he is the American Express take charge player of the game. 10 strikeouts on the night. No walks. 1 run, no earned runs, and just 6 hits. And the Phillies lead 1-0 in this World Series. And as you look at the final score, we go down to the field and go to Mark Grace with Chase Utley.
Thanks, Joe. I'm down here with the offensive star, Chase Utley. And Chase, you just hit 2 home runs off one of the best left-handers in all of baseball, a guy that's on a big role in the postseason. What was your personal game plan against CC Sabathia tonight?
Try to hit his fastball, try to lay off his slider because it's tough to hit. I was able to get 2 pitches to hit, and I didn't miss him. You can't miss him on that guy.
The Phillies you guys are the defending world champions, and yet it seems like the Yankees came in here as big favorites. Now, do you guys use that as fuel because you're the underdogs in this thing?
Well, we have confidence. We know we have a good team, as well as the Yankees. We're just going to go out and play hard. You know, Cliff Lee pitched outstanding tonight. They have a great offense, and he's got to be really proud of himself.
Go get a shower, pal. Great job. Let's send it back up to Joe Buck.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. And we welcome everybody to the Chevy postgame show on Fox. And we go back down to the field, and here's Ken Rosenthal.
Cliff Lee, so much talk about the Yankees offense entering this series. You pitched a complete game, 10 strikeouts, no walks. How did you do it?
Working ahead, you know, mixing speeds and staying out of the heart of the plate. That's what you got to do, you know, to be successful as a pitcher. And tonight I was able to do that. And the times that I did get behind in the count, I was able to make a quality pitch and you know, make him hit it to someone. But you know, it's a tough lineup to pitch to. It's you know, if you keep them in the yard, you're doing pretty good, much less being able to throw the whole game and you know, keep them at bay the way I did. I'm really proud of that. And the bottom line was mixing speeds and locating pitches.
You made the nonchalant catch on the pop-up. You made the behind-the-back play. It's game one of the World Series. You looked awfully relaxed out there. Talk about those plays and whether you were nervous at all on the mound.
To be honest, I really never have been nervous in the big leagues. This is what I've wanted to do my whole life, and you know, that's what I enjoy doing. It's what I take pride in, and you know, I put all the work in between starts, and for me, there's no reason to be nervous if I did all the work. You know, the game time's time to go out there and have fun, and you know, let your skills take over. And so yeah, I really have never been nervous in the big leagues. It's kind of weird, but yeah, it boils down to confidence and you know, trusting your teammates and the work you've done to build up to it, and going out there and executing.
Nice job in the behind the back. Joe, back to you.
All right, Ken, thank you, and congratulations to Cliff Lee. 10 strikeouts tonight, one off his career high of 11, which he's done 2 times, including this season. Cliff Lee, fantastic. We'll continue here tonight. 9 innings, 1 run, no earned run, 6 hits, 10 strikeouts. And offensively for the Phillies, Chase Utley. 2 home runs, 2 big stars for the Phillies, up 1-0. We'll continue after this.
Everyone talking about the performance of Cliff Lee. Already got Mitch's thoughts on the ace left-hander from Philadelphia. I wonder what Matt Vasgersian, Harold Reynolds, and Barry Larkin have to say about Cliff Lee. They're standing by live inside Yankee Stadium. Matt, take it away, man.
Well, Greg, thanks. And, you know, the first thing that struck us regarding Cliff Lee, and we made this comment a number of times during Game 1, is how unbelievably calm dude was in the highest of pressure situations, the biggest of stages, and Cliff Lee was pitching like it was a B game on a backfield in the Grapefruit League, chatting it up with his teammates, yucking it up on the in the dugout bench. Look at this too cool for school act right here. This is almost too much.
Yeah, that's just not right there. You know, he was certainly feeling himself, and you know, and then Posada tapped back to the mound. He said, you know, take that little fella right there.
This set the night off right
He's
here.
feeling kind of cool. The only other pitcher I've seen make that play is Jose Rijo, and he actually timed that, but that was a nice play there also.
Did Rijo make that in Game 1 of a World Series?
I don't think so.
I mean, too cool and too good for the Yankee bats today. Cliff Lee has been the most dominant pitcher in the postseason thus far. I think you can fairly say that now that he's outdueled CC Sabathia. What was in his arsenal tonight, Lark?
It was strikes, you know, and that's all he did. He just pounded the strike zone, strike after strike after strike. It was strike 1 on almost every single batter. And these guys knew good and well that they had to come up there and swing the bat. Of course, in the postseason, you want to be patient, you want to be selective. But Cliff Lee, because he was pounding the zone so much, these guys knew good and well that he had to come out. They had to come out and they had to swing the bat. You know, once they start swinging the bat, then he can expand the strike zone. But Cliff Lee was on top of everything. And what makes him so tough is this. It's the fact that he hides the ball. You see a lot of swings and misses, and you can see he's almost stepping towards the opposing dugout over there, and that ball's behind his back. Then it all just appears from nowhere. But Cliff Lee, I think one of the reasons why he's so difficult to hit, and actually hitting against him in his spring training game, was the fact that he hides the ball. It is very tough to pick it up. The fact that he doesn't throw 95 miles an hour, but you see a lot of swings and misses, that just tells you that guys can't pick up the ball early.
Show them at home what it looks like.
Yeah, so if you're at home right here, and I'm Cliff Lee, and this is the ball right here, I got my back here, and the ball just appears out of nowhere, just like that right there. I like that.
You know,
I like
we
that.
hear Mitch Williams talk about this a lot when he breaks down Cliff Lee, and we hear it said regarding other pitchers too that the best pitch in baseball is a well-located fastball, of which Cliff Lee has a pretty deceptive one.
Well, he was fantastic with it, but also the best pitch to hit is the fastball. And you look at the Phillies, this is vintage National League baseball. Fastball counts. It didn't matter. They were swinging at fastballs. And if you look at what the Yankee pitchers tried to do, their scouting report was, we're going to try to get fastballs by guy, and it just was not going to happen. Ryan Howard right here. Watch 3-2 with Utley. Here's a home run. These are all fastball counts. And if you're hitting off a fastball 0-2, he's looking fastball. When you got a guy throwing 89 to 94 miles an hour, you're going to look fastball. And as the Phillies took advantage of nothing but the fastball. The one thing that I noticed in the American League more than the National League and playing in the American League my whole career is you have to learn to hit breaking pitches in fastball counts, because guys will throw changeups 2-1, they'll throw breaking balls 2-1. National League, they come after you. These guys are trained that way. And so when you try to go against a National League team and think you're going to beat them with the fastball, you got a long night, and that's what happened tonight.
Well, you know, we talked about a little bit before our pregame show. We talked about how the Yankees kind of overpowered the other guys and how their power was going to fit in well with the Phillies. Well, the first four out of 5 hits today were with 2 outs, and 5 out of 9 today were with 2 outs. They got fastballs in situations with 2 outs, and they made the Yankees pay.
And the Yankees are going to have to change their game plan. That's the beautiful thing about a 7-game series. You have all the scouting, we talked about that before, and you go out and you think you can beat certain guys, but they're going to have to change their game plan, because clearly this is a fastball hitting team, and nobody is going to throw it by them.
Cliff Lee with a complete game victory in Game 1 of the World Series. And, Greg, as we send it back to you, it's the first Game 1 complete game win since 1995 when Greg Maddux defeated the Cleveland Indians. Bad times to be a Cleveland fan. You got to hear stuff like that, and then you got to watch CC Sabathia and Cliff Lee duel in Game 1 of a World Series. Back to you guys in Studio 3.
All right, guys, thank you. It was a performance for the ages for Cliff Lee, but what about the Yankee hitters who had to face the left-hander? After the break on MLB Tonight, presented by Motorola, we'll hear from some of those Yankee bats. It was a rough night for guys like Alex Rodriguez. Derek Jeter had 3 hits. We'll hear from the captain and Johnny Damon. That's coming up on MLB Tonight, presented by Motorola. Welcome back to MLB Tonight, presented by Motorola. Yankee Stadium was packed to capacity for Game 1 of the 2009 World Series. The Phillies won the game, final 6-1. And speaking of the numbers 6 and 1, the Phillies used just 1 pitcher, that being Cliff Lee. The Yankees used 6. Those decisions were made by the skipper, Joe Girardi, who addressed the media after Game 1.
Here in front. Joe, when you have a game like this, is it just too much Cliff Lee? Is he the story of this game?
Yeah, I mean, he was great tonight. He kept us off balance. You know, he got us to chase some pitches when we were down in the count, up in the zone. He used his cutter very well. He used his curveball very well. I mean, he was really good. And CeCe, I thought CeCe grinded it out very well tonight. And he made the 2 mistakes to Utley, but that was it. But Cliff Lee was really good.
Down here, Barry. Right behind you, Barry.
Thanks. Hey, Joe, just following that up, I mean, CeCe was, the Phillies were 2 for 23 aside for Utley against CeCe, which kind of punctuates what you were saying about him grounding it out. What was he doing against the rest of the lineup that he couldn't do against Utley?
Well, he got some balls in the middle of the plate to Utley, and Utley made him pay. And, you know, we all know Utley's a great player. He's got power. He's got a short stroke. And CeCe missed some spots, and he didn't miss them.
And I think he followed both of strikeout.
Yeah, well, he made his pitches after that. So, I mean, sometimes when you make mistakes, you get away with them, and sometimes you don't.
What else for Joe? Okay, in the middle over here.
Obviously, in a game like this, the bullpen needed to be a little stronger than it was. I guess how frustrating was that collapse for you, and where are you with them right now?
I have a lot of confidence in our bullpen. You know, the walks hurt us. The first 2 walks hurt us. Marte came in and did a good job. That Robertson did okay. You know, we gave them some extra runs, and they were able to tack on, and it looked like we might get out of that inning. Marte did a very good job against Utley and Howard, and Robbie just almost got out of it. They hit a ground ball in the hole.
Standing in the back, Mark.
Joe, could you, as good as Lee was tonight, could you sense your offense getting frustrated at all, and could you sense them taking a different approach as that game went on?
No, I didn't think so. You know, I mean, it's baseball. Guy makes his pitches. Sometimes you're going to have a hard time scoring runs, and sometimes you're able to scratch a few across. As far as being frustrated, our guys will grind it out. I'm not concerned about that.
On the right, Joel.
Joe. That was Joe Girardi. He was talking about that 8th inning. Well, Raul Ibanez got the 2-out, 2 RBI single with the bases loaded. He made a lot of pitching moves in this game, but he left David Robertson, the right-hander, in there to face Ibanez, the left-handed bat. What did you think of that?
It's curious. I mean, in that situation, you're already down. And he did leave Robertson in to face Raul Ibanez. Ibanez gets a base hit when he still had Phil Koch in the bullpen. He could have gone left on left there and tried to keep the game where it was. It didn't happen, and he ended up bringing Koch in anyway. So it kind of makes you wonder, does he regret not bringing him in to face Ibanez? I'm sure if you asked him now, yeah, I wish I would have. But it didn't happen. The one thing Girardi did get accomplished tonight, Joe got to bring his bullpen onto the field. They got that first game jitters out of their way. Now, from here on out, they don't have any of that first game jitter stuff eating at them, right? They're ready to go. The Phillies, their bullpen still hadn't been to the mound yet. I mean, Cliff Lee made sure of that. But they're at some point, they're going to have to go out there and go through that first game World Series jitters, and the Yankees have that out of the way already.
You know who got it out of the way last year? Didn't have any jitters. Chase Utley leads us to our Chevy head-to-head matchup, and it's the number 3 hole hitters for both of these clubs. Chase Utley, 2 for 4 with 2 home runs. Mark Teixeira, 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Utley, the star for the Phillies at the plate, no doubt. We send it back to Yankee Stadium, where Matt, Harold, and Barry have more on the Phillies' second baseman. Guys.
Yeah, Greg, that 3-hole comparison, really no comparison, as Chase Utley hits the 2 home runs. He becomes the 3rd Philly to enjoy a multiple home run World Series game. Len Dykstra hit a pair in Game 4 in '93. Last year, Ryan Howard in Game 4 hit a pair of home runs. In fact, Chase Utley was kind of a one-man wrecking crew until the Phillies added on late. And his first plate appearance tonight, Lark, enabled him to break a major league record.
Well, it was 26 consecutive postseason games that he has reached base. You know, he's played in 27, and I believe that breaks Boog Powell's record. His first game he played, he was 0 for 4 Ks, and since then he's been absolutely lights out.
Well, you talk about lights out. I'm looking at the at-bats he had tonight off CC Sabathia. A great game plan, and again, we touched on it earlier about them hitting fastballs. But I thought it was real interesting how CC tried to pitch him and the adjustments that Chase Utley made. We can go to the videotape, we'll check out and break this down. But if you watch the at-bats, we'll go to the first at-bat. And this is a tremendous at-bat. We'll pick it up 2-2. This is about a 9-pitch at-bat. 2-2, the breaking ball away. Then he goes 3-2. Now, what I found interesting about this 3-2 pitch, as he takes it for a walk, this is the at-bat when Ryan Howard comes up next in the first inning, hits the double, all right? Hits a fastball, 0-1, double in the corner with 2 outs. They hold Utley at third base. But what that does, you got Ryan Howard hitting behind you. All of a sudden, CC says, uh-oh, Howard's still hot, all right? Now, fastball's in, breaking ball away. That's the pattern that they tried to go with him. They pounded him in, and the times that they missed, he was on it. Fastball in, so another fastball in, breaking ball away. Follow the trend. Sets up in, fastball in, he fouls off a tough pitch. Then here's the breaking ball. This is the home run at bat, his first home run. Then they go fastball in, he fouls it off, and they come back in with a fastball 3-2. Now let's think about 3-2, okay? He knows Ryan Howard has just doubled the last at bat. He's sitting on deck. He knows he's getting a fastball. There's no doubt about it. It's eliminating his mind. They're not going to trick him. Home run. Then you go to the next AB. All right? With Ryan Howard, this is why it's so important where you hit. Fastball in, breaking ball away. Again, he tries and misses with the fastball away, but he wants to go in. There's the breaking pitch. Now it's starting to change a little bit, but what do? They come back in. He hammers a ball foul. It's solidified in his mind. They're going to pitch me in with fastballs. See you later, out of the ballpark. This is the great adjustments that an understanding of how they're pitching you. And I'm telling you, the Yankees are in a world of hurt right now because they've got this game plan. If they don't adjust, We're going to see this night in, night out. The Phillies pounding the baseball.
Well, I tell you what, I think absolutely the game plan is to pitch Chase Utley in. But the problem is Chase Utley has probably one of the shortest swings in all of Major League Baseball. So if you throw a strike on the inner half and he's thinking inner half, you are in a world of trouble. If you saw where Posada was setting up, he wasn't setting up on the inside part of the plate. He was setting up on the inside of the plate. He was inside of the almost of the batter's box, and they wanted the ball way in. And I think it was way in for effect so he could pull that ball foul because they know that his swing is so short. Listen, if they make mistakes out over the plate, that's why most pitchers don't like to pitch inside. Left-handed, right-handed, 95, 96 miles an hour. If you make a mistake to a good hitter with a short stroke on the inside part of the plate, that's the ball that goes a long, long way. We saw it 2 times today.
The thing I find interesting about Game 1, this is what I love about 7-game series, is adjustments along the way. And it's almost like a boxing match. We were talking about that earlier.
Counter-punching,
You're
that's
just
right.
kind of counter-punching, filling each other out. I think the Yankees learned some things tonight. The Phillies definitely did. And we'll see who makes the adjustment.
Here's the thing I find interesting about Game 1. When the road team wins the opener, they are 24-17 in World Series play. It happened last year. The Phillies won in Tampa. Who was the hero? Chase Utley hit a 2-run home run in a 1-run win for the Phillies. Things repeat themselves the very next year. Utley is the hero, and the road team has taken Game 1 of the 2009 World Series. Greg and Mitch, back to you guys in Studio 3.
All right, fellas, thank you very much. Chase Utley, the star for the Philadelphia Phillies with 2 home runs. Reminder, see how the 2 teams stack up at worldseries.com/Chevy and enter for a chance to win a new Chevy or tickets to the World Series. So may the best team win at worldseries.com/Chevy. Much more to come about World Series Game 1. More from Studio 3 and from Yankee Stadium after the break.
It's a pretty good team, a veteran clubhouse, so we know what's at stake and we know what we need to do tomorrow.
CC, could you take us through that at bat with said it was a good at bat for him, got up 1-2. Like, what were you trying to do at that point?
The second one?
Second at bat, his first one.
The second at bat, I was just trying to put him away. He fouled off a lot of pitches in and tried to throw a fastball down on the way 3-2 and ended up, over the heart of the plate.
So just a mislocation?
Just a mislocation both times, and
the 0-2 obviously.
The 0-2, obviously I'm not trying to throw a ball right down the middle of 0-2, and he was ready for it.
Do you recall where the target was on that pitch?
It was supposed to be up and in.
He's been pitching like that for the last couple of years. He's been their ace for a reason, but we really didn't get him in trouble much at all.
The game plan seemed to be the off-speed stuff, right? With his changeups was getting most guys out.
Yeah, he's mixing it up. He always mixes it up. That's what makes him a great pitcher. He doesn't just go and stick with one game plan every time you face him. He mixes it up, and he did a great job.
Had you guys seen anything like Lee so far this postseason as far as quality of pitches for that length of time?
We've faced some guys that have pitched well. I can't remember exactly all the games, but like I said before, you move on further in the playoffs, it gets more and more difficult. And today was outstanding.
CC was good except for those 2 pitches to Utley.
CC did a great job. CC did a great job. Utley, he can hit. That's the bottom line. It's tough when you're facing CC, especially a lefty, and hit those 2 home runs. But CC did exactly what we needed him to do. We just didn't score any runs.
Chase, first of all, I'll get to your night in just a minute, but just getting this first one at Yankee Stadium and right away putting the pressure back on the Yankees, how huge is that for you guys?
Well, I think it's big. Our mentality stays the same no matter what game it is. We came out, fought today. We wanted to try to get on top early, and I'm glad we did.
What is it about you and first games of World Series and hitting home runs?
I don't know. I think it might be just coincidence, but CeCe's a tough pitcher, and I was able to get a couple pitches to drive. We scored some late runs, but the real story has to go to Cliff Lee. Cliff Lee pitched outstanding. He kept a great offense off balance all night. So he's a true story.
I want to go back to your at-bats really quick with CC Sabathia. First at-bat, 6 pitches. Second at-bat, I think you took 9 pitches. How were you able to be so patient and just sit and wait for the right pitch?
It's not that easy. I was trying to lay off the slider as much as possible because that's a tough one to hit. And if he leaves a fastball over the middle of the plate, those are the ones you can't miss if you want to succeed against that guy.
What makes Cliff Lee so good? If you were hitting against him, how would you hit him?
I don't know. I'm glad he's on our side, but he works both sides of the plate. He mixes in his off speed. I think he's pretty deceptive in his delivery, and he knows what he's doing.
All right, Chase, congratulations. Best of luck tomorrow in Game 2. Guys, let's send it back over to you.